welcome everybody. We're going into another set from the Fox Invitational. We're cheering on our friends, the pub, Team GB plus Dave. Well, Dave actually not playing this game, but he might show up a bit later. We'll quickly run through all the players in the civs. We've got Steak playing as the Britons, one of the, if not the best, arena playing. Arena, Arabia. Fuck me, it's early in the morning. One of the best, yep, the best Arabia flank. We'll just keep going from here. We then have Mr. King Boo as the Hun pocket, and then Darvoy as the Mine flank. You've got two of the best flanks, and then Huns, which are a pretty decent pocket civ. Not unhappy with these civs in the slightest. Then for Denmark, we have Good Luck playing as the Malay on flank. Then we have the Frank pocket, arguably the strongest pocket. And then we have Salad playing as the Chinese. Let's go back to the idle TC time to see how the Chinese are going. Ooh, only one bill of idle time. Pretty sick. The Malay pick to me is the most odd civ that's being used in this game, because there is Team Islands potentially in the 5-map rotation that will be played here. That was being picked by Pub. And Malay is a pretty good water civ. Obviously, you've got harbors for the late game, but just the faster age up gives you so many options to either add extra fish and villages in Dark Age and have a really solid eco, or attempt to just be up incredibly quickly and take a take a really good position with early army. But why the fuck does Darvoy have a whole Vil worth of idle time? Did he just forget to queue Vils? Oh, whoa. Darvoy, what are you doing, my man? What is this? Oh, no. No, Darvoy. Darvoy, you didn't do loom. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's... Oh, no. The whole point of mines being... Well, not the whole point, but part of the reason they're such a good Arabia civ is you're always a villager up. Because you do loom at the start, and then whenever everybody else gets loom, you just gain a villager. But that's just completely wasted right there. That is just... That's one of the... I mean, I'll be honest, I've done this exact thing before, so I can't complain too much. But it is definitely a very large and very unfortunate Titanic to do that. Especially if you're against a potentially really fast up civ like Malay. The Malay could potentially have 2 archers in your base before you even finish your archery ranges, if they're going for some wacky build. Save 2 seconds of idle TC time though. Oh, yes. The value. The value. Been looking at the minimap, there's no sign of anyone laming. They're just playing standard baguette builds. You sit at home, you push your deer, and you plan for it. Plan for your fast uptimes, your 18, your 19 pops. And you just try to get into people's base as quickly as possible. It looks like we're going to see yep, we're going for the mill start with the Chinese, which does make a lot of sense. You need the extra food sometimes to make sure you click up, especially if you've got some awkward deer like he seems to have, only having pushed a single deer in so far. He has eaten through all of his boar already. Was there actually a boar lame? No. No, yeah, so just eaten through all of his boar already, so yeah, getting some extra food in from the berries makes a lot of sense. Gotta catch up to them late somehow, oh yeah. Oh yes, indeed. You're probably, yep, sending a couple extra vills over there, but we do see Loom starting to come in. We're going for 19 pop, it looks like, from the Steak and from the Boo. Whereas Mr. Street Pete here is going up on the 18 pop. He's also only pushed a single one of his deers. He's been having a bit of trouble here. They've been being scared away. Having some issues getting that in. The first game of AoE2 I watched in a while, and Darvoy goes full Belvin. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's very... He's got more idle time. How is he idle for another 10 seconds? What? Let's go forward a bit more. How do you not click up? Why is he idle? My guy just do loom. He's gone up without loom to, I guess, make up... What? Why wouldn't you have just done one less fill and do Loom? Because you're still gonna have to get Loom when you hit Feudal Age, so you're not really getting much of an advantage from skipping it. Mining Cap not finished, but that's why you do Loom! I don't understand, just do the Loom! Oh. Oh no. And his uptime isn't even going to be that much faster than his direct melee opponent, but the melee player has one extra villager and Loom. So obviously, as soon as Grey hits, as soon as Darvoy hits Feudal Age, he's going to do Loom. He's going to fall another villager behind. Is he going to forget getting Loom? I hope not, because that could be incredibly Titanic if that happens. Where are the scouts from the pocket players? That is the question. King Boo is finding some sheep for his teammate, which is pretty nice. And then Green is still chilling in his base, trying to push in that last deer. So there's no sign of any super early aggression from either of the pockets. They're just doing the team things. Well, one of them is doing the team thing, and the other one is doing the self-preservation of eco thing. He's still not got Loom. I get this is possibly the situation where he just thinks that he's done it at the start because he was like cancelling the vills to do Loom and he just accidentally cancelled Loom. Taking a pretty poor engagement, just getting off the hill makes sense. Just deal as much damage as possible because you can't run away with the slower Eagle Scout. We're going to keep a very, very close eye on Darvoy, if we're being honest, because we want to see if he just gets wrecked because he doesn't have Loom. We see the, looks like we're going for a 2v2 on the bottom side and then leaving the top players to play amongst themselves. No, yeah, it was definitely a misclick when he was cancelling vills, and because he queued the vills at the start of the game and then clicked Loom, and then as he was cancelling the vills, he also cancelled Loom and then re-queued the vills. Claps the first army fight, gets full walled and gets away with it. I mean, are we maybe just going to see him not get Loom at all for the entire game? Oh, there is a hole there next to the archery range. I wonder if he noticed that, to be honest. It's wasting a little bit of HP on his scout there. Definitely not the best thing to do. And now we do see the scouts and the archers just sort of poking and prodding. We do see a slight scout advantage for King Boo, but that is negated by the extra HP that the Frankish scouts do have. Hope he noticed the hole. Does not look like he has. Already have fletching. No fletching just yet for Grey. Grey doesn't actually even have a... Oh, he's just going up right now. It's a little bit late, but... And his berry is actually incredibly exposed at the moment. But we do see the paired armies coming forwards. Blue's got 4 archers. We've got a whole 8 archers for stake already. Part of that being the Britain team bonus. I guess just a little bit faster production. I guess he was also up a bit faster because he was against Chinese. So that does make sense. And now Darvoy is beeline. It's straight towards the berries. By the time he gets there, though, he's going to have a significant army disadvantage because of the faster reinforcements. And actually, no, he's just going straight to the pocket. Maybe? No, he's just pausing. Hold. Hold. No, I'm going to the pocket. On the bottom side, though, they do break through a house foundation. And, oh, this is Salad's main gold, which is unfortunately quite exposed since he didn't finish these walls at the bottom side. How much gold does he have in the bank is the question. No more gold. So he is capped at 6 archers at the moment. And he's got quite a few vills queued, so he could start making skirms. But this situation is almost just a GG moment straight up. Because skirms and scouts just get absolutely destroyed by scouts and archers. And oh boy, Darvoy is just going to wander straight in through this hole. Where are Grey's archers? They're just sitting outside his base doing absolutely no tracking whatsoever of what his direct opponent is doing. Good luck lost his scout at some point to something or other. I don't know exactly what. But denying a bunch of farms. Armor has just come in. And now he's just saying, oh, does he go back with his scouts and leave Blue to die? Or does he struggle for food income? GG, it's definitely looking good. And we still do not have Loom for Darvoy. Where's Grey? Here he is. He is coming in to help out his teammate. We just see only the one villager kill, but he's caused a bunch of idle time. He's even forcing a defensive tower on his wood. I don't think that that's necessary. You should know that your teammates' archers are heading this way to help you out. You shouldn't need to waste the stone on this tower. And Grey with the larger numbers absolutely cleaning this up, hardly losing an archer. And it looks like he's just going to swing over this way to help out Blue because he is still fully on skirms. All of his archers are dead. So at this point, I feel like Stake could almost think about slowing down production, concentrating on getting up to Castle Age, because Boo is really the important player at this point. The skirms, they do well against the archers, obviously, and the archers do not do well against the skirms. Grey's army, though, where did he head off to? Yep, still heading this way. Really fucking hard to see that on the minimap. Are Devoid's other archers going to Grey now? They are heading that way. He is still open on the front, but it's potentially quite risky to try diving under the CC. This berry bush, though, just freely been taken without being pressured at all outside of his walls. Even his main gold is being ignored in favor of this slightly safer extra gold. Why spend 50 gold on Loom when you could spend it on 1 and a bit archers? Loom doesn't force any towers from the enemy. I mean, true. True indeedy. And now it seems like Boo and Stake might just swing towards the pocket, potentially, and just go double him, knowing that Blue is essentially out of the game in terms of being useful for the next 10 minutes. Because he needs to get a mass of archers before he can actually do anything useful. And by that point, you know, you would expect that Boo is in Castle Age already. And then Knights with +2 are going to absolutely clean. These villagers walking a dangerous line there, trying to continue gathering wood when you know that there are enemy archers. You do have 2 lumber camps. Why don't you just go to the other lumber camp? Why are you staying here asking to die? This does not make any sense to me. He does have extra archers coming around the back. He is actually at a slight army disadvantage. Grey does actually also have armor upgrade. But, and actually they're both on the way up to Castle Age. He's going to be up first. Did he build a market? He did build a market. And now we're going to see an archer duel to see who has the better micro. Darvoy, though, is claiming this hill. At the back, we do see the double heading towards the pocket. But for the time being, we'll just stick here and watch these archers toing and froing. No Loom for Darvoy. We still do not see Loom. Still no Loom. He's a big baller. Boo also did not do Bloodlines, by the way, in Feudal Age. Saving it, or cutting it to try to get up a bit faster. An interesting decision, but seems they had done so much damage to Blue. Oh my god, what is this? This is a mess. What are you doing, Salad? What is going on? And now Grey's Archer's still over here just chilling. They're going to bust through this gate in absolutely no time. Green is now off of gold. He does not have enough gold to click up. He does have a market, so he could potentially sell some stone. It looks like he's actually bought stone already. Why did he buy stone? I guess he was worried he might need another tower. That's a very rough position to be in. Normally you want to sell your stone to get up faster, not buy more stone to delay your Castle Age. Darvoy's still camping back here. Where are Grey's crossbows? There's some of them there. And they're heading back this way to try to clean up the double. It feels like Good Luck is really doing the heavy lifting for Denmark at the moment. Getting up this quickly with these upgrades. I mean, he didn't do attack and he didn't do Bloodlines, so I don't think it's that difficult to be up to Castle Age at 22 minutes when you skip 2 of the most important upgrades. Okay, it looks like we are going to see the engagement. Red now does have crossbow of his own, and he is Britain crossbows, but the range is not really going to matter in this exact situation. I feel like they just need to force this fight before Purple gets +2 armor. Yeah, it makes sense. You just want to clean up those scouts before they become too much of a pickle. They are just going to sort of dive this food eco a little bit. Kill these farmers over here would be really good from Boo. Yeah, that's a good play. That's a good play. I like that. Blue is wandering forwards with his useless army, if I'm being honest. That's just a scout. And we just micro him back and forth. Really. Grey is just going to easily clean this, but we do see that Orange is just attacking a house. Where is the rest of his army? Coming around this side. Ooh. Going to pincer attack the gold, but he did just attack that house, though. Potentially revealing the fact that he is here. He's got ballistics on the way. He gets 2, 3 vills quite easily there. That is a horrible TC from Good Luck. It's not even touching the wood line. But I guess he's going to pull back his army now to come back and try to clean up Orange. But at the same time, Orange is breaking through on the top side. over on the front, all of all of Salad's army is going to die before he makes it to Castle Age. Stakes forward crossbows have cleaned this up. And now we see the double coming in on the Grey player. He's just CC'd this wood line and he's instantly losing access to it. Hey Snippy, how's it going? Yeah, Grey has just got absolutely no income at the moment. Oh, and even the forward wood line is being raided. Yeah, this is the TC that I would have liked to see instantly, but I guess he was worried that most of his army was here defending green, so it could quite easily be denied on this forward gold. But oh, we're even seeing the GG being called already. Oh, sick game. Sick game from the pubs. Still no loom for Darvoy. Top score, indeed. Clearly, the best way to play Arabia these days is you skip loom and you hard carry your team. Darvoy is the boy. At the same time, Boo was adding in his third TC, only staying on two stables, which does make sense as the Huns with the faster working stables. But really, Salad just got absolutely dunked on as soon as he lost access to his gold. And then I think Grey was really far too passive. Because he was just sitting on this hill defending his berries, which you know, in hindsight makes sense. They were very exposed outside of his walls. It's a bit of a risk to leave that open. But without tracking Orange's army, it's far too easy for them to just rotate around as they did. You hit the pocket to distract him while the 2v1 is going on in Blue's base. And Grey just never punished Darvoy for not having Loom and for losing his early army poking around the pocket space. Blue's wall's too ambitious. I don't think so. I think this wall you have to do at some point. I would just probably have prioritized the second range instead. I mean, 10 pieces of wall is like 30 wood. Like, it's obviously not enough for the second range. He's definitely fluffed his build order somewhere. But I think the way that I would have played it is you get your two ranges, you get your fletching, and you just defend your gold, and then you go out there and get the wall up. And like the double scout harass here was definitely a good call, poking this back. But like the second range is only just now coming up, and Red's already got 3 archers out, and Red's already building his blacksmith. Blue does not have a blacksmith. Or we just like skip through this a little bit faster. I think he made a mistake in his build order. The range was too late. The blacksmith is just he's investing in even more walls instead of getting fletching. So they're just incredibly far behind on army already on this side. So he needed to rush a tower up at this point. As soon as they see this much army, he needed a tower, or else he's just dead. And yeah, he dies. So you don't fluff your build. I mean, okay, he does have a blacksmith now, but still no fletching even. Right, well, I guess it's useless at this point because he has no army to get fletching for. But definitely not the ideal situation. So we've got a win, and a win. And on this side, Fanji convinced me to switch the civs around, and then it was incorrect. So we switched that back. Franks, Chinese, and then that's just... Why would you early pick Malay like that? Just to use them on Arabia. I think that is a poor use of your draft. You could have had Portuguese, for God's sake. Portuguese is a much better Arabia flank, I think. And Portuguese is just also a better Team Island civ. So whatever they were thinking about using Malay for, it could have been Portuguese. With absolutely no issues, in my opinion. Oh boy, the next game's actually already started. Sorry, we just spent too much time analyzing that game. Let's go jump into it. We're jumping into Nomad right now. Well, let's slow that down a little bit. Jump into Capture Age, turn off the time bar. And yes, here we do. We go into game number 2. We've got Mongols, Berbers, Lithuanians. And they're using Dravidians for Nomad instead of Team Islands. I mean, it makes sense, but I feel like the way that Denmark is using their civs, they're not trying to win the series. I think they're just trying to win a game or two. And we do see a sub, Cappy Fract is coming in replace of Steak. Civ positions. We do have the Berbers adjacent to the Malians. And then we have the Dravidians adjacent to the Spanish. No, well, why are their colours wrong? What the fuck? I was thinking red was on the enemy team. Red becomes teal now. There we are, so that we have odds and evens. That makes it much easier. Alright, we have Spanish in position to protect the Dravidians instead of attack them. And then we have Cappy as the Lithuanians. And Tavoy as Mongols, both incredibly far away from their enemy. In solid positions to just boom, or potentially do castle drop Mangadai to support. Nomad is just team islands where everyone has already landed. I guess that is one way to look at it, Wally. I guess that is an interesting perspective. Okay, we've got a blue dock at the top, and then a teal dock on the right, and green. Okay, so all of Denmark's docks are towards the top right-hand side. And then we have Darboy as the Mongols in the middle, and then both Boo and Cappy just absolutely chilling on the far side of the island. Relatively safe fish to begin with, until somebody contests water. Mongols could potentially also just fast feudal and play for... Oh, he's walled in the sheep. That is unfortunate. That poor sheep, he can't even go scouting. Play fast feudal for water and then transition into Mangadai or Steppe Lancers later in the game. If we take a quick look at their scouting... I would assume that they see the box for this TC, but I would guess that they actually have no idea that these two players are here, which is quite significant. Not knowing where the Spanish player is a bit of a headache, to be honest, because you're always worried about where the conks are going to go. But in return, they know about King Boo. I would assume that this is a sheep that has been taken over, but they've got no idea where the two booming players are. But to them, I think it's a little bit less relevant because you sort of know that they're booming somewhere over here. Whereas for pub, you're more worried, like, is the Spanish player, hiding somewhere amongst us, and we're going to see a castle chucked up on us? Like, is there a Spanish player, like, right here or something? And all of a sudden, as you play Feudal Age Water, you got castle drops. Boo flared green CC. Yep, absolutely makes sense. Like, I figured that they would probably have seen it because of the box, but not 100% sure. Amogus. There is a new map coming out for Amogus in October. I would love to try to get some games on it, to be honest. Get back into the Corona lockdown vibes. Early build counts are essentially equivalent. And really, like, the main reason that you pick Dravidians for Nomad is because you want to get an early fish lead. And we've got 2-2-2 versus 2-2-3, so you don't really have much of a lead at all. And at the same time, you've wasted potentially your strongest Team Island Civ. Because obviously on Team Islands, you're going to be making, 3 to 10 docks each. So you multiply that so that extra house team bonus many, many, many more times. And it's much more impactful on a map like Team Islands. No signs of any lames. We do see a flare on this dock, though. Okay, so they've figured out that the dock is over here. This sheep might eventually scout out. Oh, no, it looks like they're going to miss Green's Pond, unfortunately. But they do now know that there is probably no Spanish player right next to Darvoy, so he's not going to be worried about a castle drop. And the sheep scouting, though, for pub is actually quite insane. They've probably localized at least one of the players has to be down here. The question is, do they figure out that it's actually both of them? Back over to Denmark scouting. Very, very limited scouting, to be honest. They haven't even figured out where the closest resources are for Boo. Does he have a golden stone nearby? Is he potentially going to go for a castle drop and camel archers? In terms of going up to feudal, blue looks like he's going to be the closest, which does make sense. Dravidians, as a water civ, probably wants to play water. Try to kill as much of pub's fish as possible, as quickly as possible, while being protected by Big Brother Spanish. And yeah, we do see the fuel age coming in right now. They are going to share a gold, though. Which is... yeah, not necessarily ideal. But they'll make it work out, I think. Pub actually has all of their players relatively close to clicking up. Mongols is just going to do Loom and then go up. Boo. I mean, he's actually close to 30 pops, so it's still a reasonable FC time. Yeah, he has clicks feudal now, as we see, as has orange, and yellow is a little bit slower. But I would guess the Cappy is probably going to be the big boomer boy. Get knights, maybe even go for a castle knights, but probably just open with some knights and build TCs. Even just long distancing the gold. No, he's going to build a mining camp. Why get Loom? Darvoy doesn't need it. He is a big gamer. And it seems that no one is going to play water for pub, it looks like. Because the mill here certainly indicates that he is going to build a market and probably go FC. Does he see any stone is the question. Are we going to see Mengurai? He sees a bunch of stones, but none of them are really appealing to take. So we might see him go for Step Lancers, potentially? He has made a lot of fish, though, so not contesting water is not exactly the best decision. Okay, we do see an extra dock coming out from Cappy. Maybe FC Fires might be the play. But I feel like not contesting water and knowing that there's an enemy dock just here, I probably wouldn't make 9 fish myself. I feel like you're just over-investing for them to simply die. Especially when you're such a good land eco-civ like Mongols. You know, you just lure an extra boar or take some extra deer, and you should be able to click up just fine. We do see market. No blacksmith just yet for Boo. He's a little bit short on the wood, but he's going to have the food and the gold just fine to click up. The blue player does have 2 docks. Only the 2 docks, though. And he is actually sending his early galleys straight around this side, so he's actually going to go and hit Cappy's fish. FC Fires is likely, yep, 100%. Oh, he's actually got another dock down here as well. Okay, interesting. I was thinking that he probably has to get a 3rd dock at some point. Especially as Dravidians, the 200 extra wood on age up makes it very, very smooth. But there's not really a huge amount of mess going on, which is something that you tend to expect from Nomad. We see a barracks and a blacksmith, so he's probably going to build a stable, I would guess. Knights versus camel archers is, yeah, it's a little bit questionable in my opinion. And Mark Blacksmith's obviously from the Spanish player, just going to go for the castle drop and conks, that's what they want to do. Oh, actually, Darvoy has actually added in a 2nd dock. So potentially seeing 2 players, both of the, in quotation marks, safe pockets, go for FC Fires. Green also has 3 docks. I'm not sure why he's going for 3 docks. You should be worrying about the Berber player in your face, not trying to build extra docks for fish. Oh, he's going to do fires as well. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting indeed. You do see, Purple madly running his fish away. I think this dock could potentially be denied. If they are paying attention. Most of the fish has been cleaned up, though. Or at least is no longer working. As we see, Boo madly running. Yep, he does try to get this up to build a palisade to block the Fire Galley's attack. The Castle Age, as it comes in though, we do see War Galley from Teal, but Teal's only got a single dock. Okay, he's adding in a second dock now. He's got 1+1. So that means that he's gonna delay his castle, it seems, to contest water instead. Darvoy's got the War Galley upgrade on the way as well. He's going to get out repaired there and lose that engagement while his fish are being killed by this single green fire ship. Now the fire ships are coming in from Teal on the side. In the north side, Happy is honestly quite slow up to Castle Age when you consider how strong the Lithuanians should be. We do see a castle drop coming in from Mr. Boo. No bold castle, indeed. I would have probably dropped it on the top of this wood line so that you can kill the TC. I think if you're going for a defensive castle, I probably would have built it on the other side of his resources, if I'm being honest. Because if it's over here, it defends the gold and the stone from any like mangonels or monks, and then it also somewhat covers the wood line. Whereas on this side, it only really defends your stone and your market and your blacksmith, which, you know, who cares about that? Green is going for 3TC. Is it possible the green just doesn't know that purple is there? No, it can't be. Like, they've even scouted this wall, okay? Like, they have to know that he's here. But just going for 3TCs and a couple of knights, and the knight isn't even going this way, is sus as hell. Back on the water engagements, we're just seeing demos and fires duking it out. It does look like Darvoy is taking a pretty decent position on the water, but he does have quite a few injured fires right now. He needs a couple more demos, I would say. Cam launchers are now silent roam around. Not going to deny either of these TCs. I think he could potentially get on this wood line, though. There is an injured villager there as well. Blue's bottom dock is actually about to be denied and destroyed by Mr. Cappy. Blue is still fishing away, though. And he's got an okay mass of war galleys, but really it's absolutely tiny. If he tries to take an engagement with only 7 of these without a single demo, I think he should just get absolutely cleaned up by this many fires. Unless he's like really on point with micro. I guess that is a possibility. But we do see that the first castle is in for Spanish. The Conks are going for a roam. 2 TCs for Cappy, 3 TCs coming up for Darvoy. Second TC as well for Boo, securing the right-hand side of his economy. And there's an Elephant Archer. What? Why is there an Elephant Archer? Oh, some bills going down there to the Camel Archers. That seems just silly. Why would you make an Elephant Archer when you know that there's a Berber player? And at this point, you know that he's making Camel Archers. Why would you even build the archery range? I guess that was his upbuilding because he didn't have a market or a mill. So he went for a barracks and a military building instead. Oh, big demo right there. Pega Elephant. I mean, yeah. Like, I guess it does have Vulcan arrows, so it does have an upgrade. It is somewhat useful, potentially. Almost all of Pub have lost their fish, whereas all of Denmark still has fish alive. It's just not necessarily... I mean, actually, no, all of it is working quite nicely. It is in a fairly safe position. I think at some point, though, Teal's fish might get pincered in here by yellow and orange. We're just seeing just out microing the poor Ellie Archer, and oh, does he survive at 5 HP? No. Let him live. Let Dumbo live. Oh, that is unfortunate. Okay, we've got 2 players worth of army. We've got a couple of conks and knights just roaming around this top side, harassing the Mongol player. It looks like Darvoy has lost track slightly of where they're going. King Boo is heading this way to try to help out. Ooh. Ooh, this TC. Okay, I guess that's going to be okay. The Camel Archer is just heading in absolutely the wrong direction. We're going to see another couple of villagers die right here. Oh, this is going to be painful for Darvoy. He does have Loon this game, but he does instantly lose 3 vills right there. And the Monk's not going to get a conversion. Everyone's just going to... Oh, he does get a conversion. Oh, he yonks away a knight. Down on the bottom side, or the right-hand side, I should say, Cappy is just booming away. He's going to pick up some relics as the Lithuanians. Lost more vills with Loom than without. Clearly, the evidence supports the fact that you should just never do Loom so that you don't lose any vills. And you do see how in low numbers, Conks are significantly better than the Camel Archers. But once you've got a big mass like this, especially if and when you get ballistics, Camel Archers suddenly are going to just absolutely destroy Conquistadors. Loom equals bait. I mean, yeah, why would you get Loom when you could just make 1 extra villager? As long as you never lose more than a single vill, then you're just better off making a vill instead of doing Loom. Oh, let's go back to the full vision, see what's going on. We've got another TC coming in for green. I feel like Denmark's being incredibly greedy. They've got 4 TCs for 2 of their players, 3 TCs plus conks from the Spanish. The Spanish player has lost his fish in the end, but both blue and green are still just fishing away on the top side. Whereas Cappy, he's only got the 2 remaining. So that is why there is a very slight villager lead for Denmark at the moment. But there is a pretty significant army lead for Pub, but you have to remember that a third of that are fire ships on the water. And then the other third is pretty much King Boo's Camel Archers and then some miscellaneous monks and knights and whatnot. The longer it takes you to lose a vill, the more benefit you have. After like 10 minutes, you can probably lose 2 vills, 3 sources. That's true! True indeed, Mr. Pete. I guess it depends on how early you lose the first vill, right? If you lose 2 vills at minute 10, then that's probably fine. But if you lose like 1 vill at 5 and then another one at 10, then you're probably losing, right? So, yeah, it's an interesting point. Boo. 3 TCs. How close is anyone to imping, it looks like? Green is somewhat getting in that direction. Just win forehead. Yep, that's exactly the word. And we've got, once again, a very defensive castle. It could have been much more aggressive to try to kill this TC. The Scorpions are taking the engagement against these Camel Archers. They are grouping up quite heavily, taking a bunch of splash damage right there. And he just only killed the one Scorpion right there. Honestly, I'd chuck those injured camels into a castle to heal up. And oh boy, look at this. The Spanish player is sending the boys and girls, going for a forwards castle on the Mongol player. The Kongs are continuing to be a pain in the ass, roaming between these 4 TCs. And also Cappy is going for a 4th TC as well. Honestly, I'm surprised how little army engagements has been going on. Like, if we go to the Eco KD, 18 to 7 for good luck. But some of that is going to be the fire ships versus Darvoy, because like Darvoy just lost 9 fish and then he's lost a bunch of vills to the Kongs as well. And we actually see skirms coming out from the Dravidian player. Does make sense. They have faster firing skirms, if I remember correctly, which is going to help them defend against the Camel Archers. And then because nobody else is actually making any army, oh no, Darboy, Darboy, this is not your game. You did so well in Arabia. Good luck wants revenge after game 1. Oh, 100%. He hasn't even noticed. He's just going to throw away all of these villages trying to build a castle. The Eco KD, absolutely disgusting. I don't know what he's doing instead. Okay, he's running away from this castle. He's finally noticed. And Pop actually does have a villager lead all of a sudden, even though he's just lost like 10 villagers all at once. I do have a very, very slight villager lead. The castle will go up eventually, it seems. We see Imp on the way for Boo, and Imp on the way for the Malian player. What are we going to be seeing? We're just going to see mass Camel Archers and probably some Trebs from Mr. Boo. Then we see extra stables coming up for Street Beat, so it's just going to be Malian Knights. And neither Darvoy nor Cappy are that close to imping. We see that Blue is actually really not that far away, and Teal is, you know, understandably the slowest. He has had to build 2 castles and make a ton of conks. He is also getting bloodlines right now to make his conks even stronger. And these conks have done quite a decent amount of damage. We see a very, very, very defensive castle right now from Cappy. I'm not sure why he's building it back here, to be honest. Maybe he's worried about some sneaky side shenanigans from Good Luck's Stockville. In Teal's position, do you just ram push Boo? I think that killing Orange is fine. Like, Green has, you know, obviously communicated the fact that he's up to Imp. And then he's, you know, making Knights and he's got his Scorpions or whatnot. So you sort of hope that Green is able to distract Purple. And then you just walk in and kill Orange like this. I think this is perfectly fine. See, 4th TC coming in for Teal. The castle has gone up. The villager is still alive though. Just going for a bit of a wander. Even a 5th TC for Green to help defend and secure this extra gold. I do like these stone walls. Although I think that that is probably open, unfortunately. But I think the walls make a lot of sense to try to deny any weird raids. Where is his knight army at the moment? Heading over this way a little bit. Potentially going to go for some raids. I don't know, yeah, I do like these knight and conks. We do see Cappy on the way up to Imp now. Darvoy has the food, he does not have the gold. He is madly mining it, but he is actually potentially in danger of just losing access to quite a few resources. Like, so many of these farms are just being idle now. He is madly microing the Mangadai to try to take down the Rams. But the Knights, Skirms, and Conks are pretty scary. What does Dravidian do? Infantry? I think Skirms plus Helbs makes a lot of sense. Like, some Skirms to try to, you know, help kill the Mangadai and or Camel Archers. And then the Helbs to defend the obvious Knight switch. Or I guess the lightest switch coming in from the Lithuanian player. I just don't understand, why would you build this castle back here? Like, up here would make much more sense to secure the gold, the stone, your farm eco. Down here to secure these TCs. This castle just does absolutely nothing at the back of his base. I guess he's worried that his slightly later Imperial Age means it could have been trebbed down. So he's instead been very, very defensive with it to ensure that he doesn't lose his production. He does have 4 relics though, so he's got close to fully upgraded Lithuanian cav coming in. The Rams and Conks continuing to push. Oh, look at all these villagers that are ready to die. Oh. I think Denmark is going to take this game, to be honest. Wouldn't Cavalier / Pala be better with the castle amount? Yes, probably. And also the extra Pierce armor is probably useful, but Lithuanians, like, the lightest is clearly just a better unit. Especially if you're expecting Halberdiers, which from Dravidians makes a lot of sense. Like, the elite lightest, I think 3 shots helps as soon as you have two relics. So, if you're expecting to be fighting, essentially a one-on-one against Helbs, lightest is a significantly better unit. On the top side, the first castle has gone down, 4th Street Pete. The mass of Camel Archers, honestly, is not that large. It's just, Green doesn't have a very large amount of knights at the moment. A couple of them are coming in from this side. And he's potentially going to snipe a Trebuchet. Yes, he is. And like even this one right here could quite easily be sniped as well. It's even been walled out. But some skirms coming over to help out from Mr. Salad. I do like that play. And we do see the final 2 players on the way up to Imperial Age right now. You have a very, very slight villager lead for Denmark. I think the military lead is the more impactful one. Because remember, 15 of Pub's army are just fire ships from Yellow, just floating around the top of the map, doing absolutely nothing. The lightest have come over here to help clean up these conks, try to defend Davoy's economy. But he is only on a single castle as the Mongols. So his Megadite production is essentially non-existent. He's off basically all of his golds and stones. So he's not going to be able to transition into it incredibly quickly either. It feels like all the responsibility is on Boo and Cappy to, oh, and there does go down that Trebuchet. And now the Helbs and the Skirms are starting to push through the top. We do see the 3rd castle coming for Cappy. He's got Conscription being queued up. Also getting Bodkin Arrow to make his castles and TTs a bit more effective. I do quite like that. I just think that Denmark is in a really, really strong position right here. They've also got more of the map, slightly. They're also pushing really hard against Boo right here. Why are the Skirms going back? The Skirms need to be forward and shooting the Camel Archers while the Knights essentially tank all the arrow fire. A couple more Trebs from Green would be nice. He doesn't actually have a castle at the moment, so that makes it a little bit difficult. Happy needs to do something after being essentially left alone. True. True indeed. I mean, he has done something. He's tried to help out Davoy here. But it seems like, yeah, he's about to just instantly lose that 3rd castle he's built. He does have elite lightest now. We do have a couple of Mangadai here to help out. I think he can probably clean this fight quite easily, because there's not really any Helbs. And as we said earlier, the Helbs aren't exactly amazing against lightest. It's really up to the Conks microing, it seems. Come on, Cappy. Take a good engagement. And they do have this castle that they can always retreat to and hide under from Mr. Salad. On this top side, it looks like Boo has lost all of his army. Absolutely dead. All the Trebs are going to go down. This castle is very quickly going to fall. He's just finished Elite Camel Archer for the 0 Camel Archers that he actually has on the field right now. These Cavalier are just going to roam through his economy, killing things. Does he have Feremba? No, he does not. It does not matter. It does. It is over. The game is over. Boo is about to die. Cappy cannot 1v3 this. Davoy has essentially nothing. He has got up to 3 castles now, which is pretty solid. But Mangadai versus, Mass Dravidian Skirms is not going to be ideal. We do see the lightest now swinging over to the top side to try to save Boo. But Boo, it's a little bit too late for Boo, to be honest. He's switching into Light Cav because he's got only the 1 single castle remaining. He can't keep up the Camel Archer production. And then Light Cav versus Helbs and Cavalier and Conks is just not what you want to be seeing. And we're also seeing a Light Cav switch coming in for good luck. Happy might not be able to 1v3, but Squeaker would have been able to. Oh, I don't know about that. We've got just mass Treb production coming out right here to try to kill Davoy's castles. The push into Cappy's base is continuing. Because remember, all of his army is over on this top side at the moment, just sitting around. I guess they're going to clean up all of these skirms, which is pretty nice. But Boo is going to lose his final castle. And then it's just Light Cav versus Marlian, fully upgraded Cavaliers with Feremba. Not a good fight in the slightest. We also see Street Pete teching into heavy camels. Cappy is starting to lose his castles again. More forward castles are coming in. Darvoy has lost his castle now. The repairs from Good Luck are insane. The Conks are just going to walk through it forward and just probably like 2 or 3 shot these Trebs, to be honest, if he just right-clicks on them. The Mangonel is also here to try to help out. He does get a shot off on the Trebs. The Trebs are actually incredibly weak. I would just dive the Trebs, to be honest. You kill the Trebs, you can just keep pushing the castles. Yeah, there we go. Darvoy's doing his best to defend. But while he's defending one-on-one against the Conks, the rest of his team is in just a horrible position right now. The light cabs are going to dive some of these siege units, but the camels are here. We see heavy camel coming in for Boo as well. How much gold does Boo have? He's got a little bit of gold. It's not exactly a huge amount. He doesn't have that much food either. And Hussar is now in for Teal. I actually haven't seen his Hussar for a while. They're just sort of poking around here, it looks like. And we're just playing just constant Treb tennis, it seems. The Mangadai are also not elite. They've got all the other upgrades, it seems, except for elite. We have coinage coming in as well. Darvoy needs to sling, I guess, all of his food to King Boo seems to be the play, so that he can make something to defend. But the Burble Heavy Camels, which are not even fully upgraded, they've only got the Castle Age armor. They don't even have Fuel Age attack yet. Versus Farimba Heavy Camels from the Malians. I'm not sure why Pub honestly haven't called it yet. I think they're dragging this game out a little bit, but obviously we do see more than they do. Maybe they think that there is a chance for Cappy to carry. But even so, like, Cappy's only got 14 Lightus. That's not exactly a very large amount. And just the population lead is quite large. 550 plus to 400. Bill leads 60 more bills, close to 100 more army right now. The Magnetized Ballistics are going to start to become incredibly powerful now that they're at a significant mass. But that's why the Dravidian player just comes over with skirms, just to help out with some range damage against the Megadai. The Lightists are continuing to dive north, but Boo is just absolutely defeated right now. His bill count is just dropping. He's running bills every direction he can go. He's even trying to deny castle here, which doesn't even matter. I think he's going to be lucky to get away with, you know, more than the 30-odd bills he has back here. Like, he's running south. He's just going to walk into helms and skirms and a castle. There's all these castles as well from Good Luck. There's nowhere for these bills to go. These ones at the top are also falling. A very, very well-played game from Denmark. They also won their Nomad game against Fox. I need to go back and check what map Pub banned. Because you would almost think that banning Nomad against a team that seems to be pretty decent on it would make quite a bit of sense. All of Boo's production buildings are about to be destroyed, but yes, he does have less than 30 bills. Denmark looks a lot cleaner throughout for sure. Oh yes. To be fair, I think that their Nomad civs are, on the whole, slightly stronger. Like, I think Dravidians, as just like a team civ, is incredibly powerful. Their unit comp obviously isn't ideal, but just they smooth out the start for any sort of difficult civ by a large margin. The issue is going to be, do they actually stand a chance at winning the entire best of 5? Since they use Dravidians here instead of saving it for Team Islands. Also, Cappy's Monastery, which he requires for all that extra attack on his Lightus, is being just shot down by this castle. Potentially could be trebbed down at some point. But even his eco is not looking very great right now. He's only got 80 builds, and we do see the GG being called right now. Okay, we'll go jump out, we'll take a look at the civs. Those ones were all accurate. First picking 2 civs for a map like this is incredibly sus, in my honest opinion. Oh, whoops, you can't even actually see it. There we are. Using the first 2 civs for Nomad. I mean, I guess Pub did the same thing for Arabia. But, I guess I can't criticize it too much in that regard. Biz, Sarah, X for TI. Biz is just such a good Chaos Pit civ. I guess they do have Incas though. Incas could go to Chaos Pit, and then you have Biz for Team Islands. And then I guess Burmese is your landing civ, maybe? Because, like, Turks and Bohemians aren't moving. Burmese Lanciv. I don't think Incas would make. I think Incas would be much better for Chaos Pit than Burmese because you're going to be making a lot of skirms and a lot of spearmen. So the cheaper food cost on all units is just really nice, right? Double land strat for TI maybe. Just go all in because you don't think you can beat them on water, so you just try to kill them on land. Could be a play, I guess. That could make sense. But if you're going to do that, then I think Byzantines has to be for Chaos Pit instead. I think one of Biz or Incas has to go to Chaos Pit so that you have a good flank sieve. Would be my assumption. The question is, which home map is Pub going to choose? There's no sign of a lobby just yet. Oh, and I also wanted to see what were the map bans. They banned Desert Paradise, and then Denmark banned BF. Understandable. I don't know if you see Inca Burmese on Tians, you know which is coming. True. I guess that does reveal the strategy quite hard. But then but the problem though is you're still wasting something, right? And I guess Byzantines and Burmese would be fine, but then, like as I said, like Incas has to be for Chaos Pit in that case. You can't have both Byzantines and Incas doing weird landing shit. Would be the way that I see it. The lobby is being set up, and we're going to go into Arena for game number 3. Arena civs. Turks, Bohemians, Burgundians. Like they seem pretty decent to me. I think that Cumans, Portuguese, and Teutons, though, is definitely a level ahead, and we just see how much earlier they've been picked in the draft. This is potentially could be quite dicey. Like Bohemians are incredibly strong for arena, but specifically the later in the game it goes, right? Whereas like their castle age is like it's okay. They can do like a good monk push if you want to, but they do have tunes, so do you really want to go for monks? And their only real great castle age unit, other than I guess potentially chemistry and hand cannons, are monks. Which again, as I said, they have tunes. You don't really want to be going for that. So maybe Bohemians just trush if they're against Portuguese, and just try to deny the castle drop in the organs. And then I guess if you're against the Teuton flank, you drush to try to deny a trush. I think the Hussite wagons. Well, Fanji says that they will win. I think it would be decent, but it's not exactly a very useful play. I think because they're expensive and they're slow, right? So you're forced onto the defensive if you play that way, which then just gives the human player potentially huge, huge. What's the word I'm looking for? Just they've got potential to do anything they want to the middle of the map, right? They have massive map control. They can either go Night Flood or they can continue booming into Imp and Paladin. They could potentially go Kipchaks, even though that's probably not great for a team game. You don't think you play Organs as Portuguese anyway. I guess you could always do a Monk Rush. Or maybe a Fast Imp. Monk Trobe Fast Imp. To then be supported by the Cumin Night Flood. I mean, I don't hate that idea, to be honest. Seems like it could be decent. I guess the Monk Fast Imp would probably actually work pretty well against both Turks and Bohemians. I guess if the Turks also go for their own Fast Imp, you might have a bit of trouble because they get bomber cannons faster. But as long as your castle isn't in their face, they have to leave their walls to kill your castle, which means that your monks plus the Cumin knights can just jump and clean up the Janny mass. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not really much of an arena clown, especially arena team games, so I don't really know what the best way to play would actually be. We do have two randoms who have joined the lobby, so it looks like there is a little bit of a delay in starting the next game, it seems. Oh, whoops. That was not supposed to be on a... Looks like the people in the lobby are just trolling the randoms that are joining. Instead of just straight up kicking them. What is the wall HP? It's normal arena, so 1080. I think you fast hit Monk and trash others so humans can play on the side. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, Manji. I think that is a good call. I mean, obviously the shoot and trush is going to happen because you want to try to break someone open so that humans can just go and kill. So the question is really, what does the Portuguese player do? Pub news losing Nomad. Yep, 100% agreed. Nomad isn't even a real map. I mean, if that was the case, you could have just banned Nomad, by the way, Mr. Fanji. I don't know if you were involved with the team strategizing and map and civ picks and whatnot, but you didn't choose maps. I mean, did you have any input on choosing the maps? Because a valued member of the team. I'm just hearing excuses from Maggie. Yeah, exactly. It's always the map's fault when you lose, and then it's always the team's skill and ability when you win. The question is, do I want to change all my numbers around so that Arena is now number 3? Seeing as it's being played as game number 3. I'm tempted, to be honest. Let's do it. We'll quickly just switch all the civs around. 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3. Let me do the same over here. Just so that it continues to make sense into the future as we look back at the order that the games have been played. Oh, and the game is starting. Let's jump into it. Turks, Burgundians, and Slavs. Well, hold up. It says that there's only 2 players on Team 1. What? How did they start with a missing player? He was Slavs and he's just fucking disappeared. They somehow have got a 5-player game, but there were 6 players in the lobby. And like, I saw that somebody had Slavs. So a player just somehow got booted out between the game being started in the lobby and then the loading screen starting where you can see you can see all the players. Have they found out how to abuse it if you pick wrong civ? I doubt that. I doubt that. Oh, but they didn't actually have Slavs on their team. True. That is odd. What is going to happen there? Because they had the Turks and they had the Burgundians, but then it said Slavs. But maybe he just like somehow crashed before the game started. You look at the other side of the map for the first time after a long game and find they've just disappeared. Nope, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this bullshit anymore. Did they somehow co-op? I mean, possibly. Let me go quickly ask Boo what the fuck happened. I see that they got an out of sync when it started. Interesting. Alter forward because wrong civ picked. But he was like out of the lobby screen. I mean, let me just try to explain it. Can I just go spectate some random game? Now, if we go to Capture Age and then we turn off Capture Age, why do I not have a fucking window capture for D? No, I want to do a game capture. Why is that? Yeah, okay. So like on this screen, right? I saw that there were 6 players, and it said that he was Slavs. And then once they got into like the black loading screen where you see what the like the tick thing show up and whatnot, that was when it disappeared. Like, here we'll show it again as we join into the proper game. Invalid match ID. What the fuck? Has it happened again? How are they out of syncing on fucking Arena? Let me go open up Good Luck Stream and see what's going on. Okay, so they're doing another lobby. How do you have issues on Arena of all maps? Thanks, D. Pinned by Pete. Why did you pin this, Pete? What are you doing? You misclicked apparently. Unpin this message. Come on, Pete. You got mod powers for a reason. You're supposed to do useful things, not unuseful things. Silly Pete, exactly. Get him out of here. I do assume still that the third civ will be the Bohemians. Oh, doing predictions. Fuck me, I'm so bad at doing that. See, yeah, we need a useful mod to do the bloody predictions for me. Start a prediction. Who will win game 3? Denmark. A pub. I mean, the problem with the predictions is everyone's probably just going to do pub all the time, so I would assume that there's not going to be too much of a payout. But there we are, we do have the prediction going. Sounds like you need to replace your mods. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, you get some competent people. But yeah, we do have the the Bohemians jumping into the game now. I vote for pub when Banji plays. Makes sense. Back to normal speed, please. Do you even have channel points? I definitely do. There have been predictions in all the odds draft sets when I remembered to do the predictions. We've got a 4-deer gen on Arena. Always something you love. Yeah, Robo will cast your game for 50k. Exactly. Exactly. But Civ-wise, as expected, we do have the Bohemians with a Burgundian pocket, and then... Oh, fuck, I did them in the wrong order, didn't I? We have Turks with a Burgundian pocket, and then Bohemian flank. Then on the other side, we have Portuguese versus Bohemians. That was the matchup that we were discussing a little bit, where we're potentially just going to see a fast imp monk treb push from both sides. Overlay. Oh, whoops, I've got to turn off that thing. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this fucking thing. Capture Age. Why is Capture Age turned off now? There we are. Yeah, that's because I'm in Capture Age, and then the normal D just freezes. Turks, Burgundians, Bohemians for the third time. Portuguese versus Bohemians. Fast Imp Monk Trebs. Hey, that's what we're looking for. Then the Cuban Pocket, obviously you're just going to Cuban Boom, and then Chuden Trush, potentially? Chudens versus Turks is probably the matchup that you want to see to try to take out the potential Janithary plays. Ooh, that is a tree right there. Not even Boo macroing. What do you mean? Boo is the Cuban player. I'm pretty sure that you can Straggler Tree delete this. Because, when I was testing out streaming stuff again a while back, I, just jumped into a random game, and then somebody just chopped the Straggler Tree and sent villagers inside and was laming and bill fighting. Straggler Tree delete for Shooting Trush? I mean, yeah, exactly. You go for the Trush and you just get straight in without building the first tower. That would be huge. Zoom in on it. I mean, do you like this pixel tree? Should be able to tell by the underneath. I have a identical trees mod, so that's not really useful. Like all the trees are like it says bamboo forest, but they all look like a pine tree with a little bit of a box around it. How can you say it looks like a straggler tree? They all look the same. Because of the ground under it. You mean because it doesn't have the dark brown, it's instead the green? And the leaves? I guess so? Maybe we'll find out if Steak goes for the Trush. And if he notices. There's always a chance in arena team games to start with straggler trees in the walls. Yep. That seems like a bit of a problem. Okay, come on, Steak. Scout it out for us, please. Make it a game plan. Do it. Come on, no, go left, left. Come on. This way. Come to the left. No, don't go top. Go the other way. Okay, he knows that he's against Turks, which is definitely a good thing. Attacking the wall, not so much of a good thing. Steak equals noob, 100%. I think that good luck, as soon as he, like, recognizes the fact that he's going to get shoot and trushed, he should be drushing to defend himself. Yep, there is the mining camp on stone. Honestly, like, I think a pre-mill drush is probably the best way to defend this. You make 3 militia, and then you get loom, so you need to gather 10 gold, obviously, and then you send, like, 5 or 6 of your bills. Because as soon as the shooting player just doesn't get a first tower up, you are then in a great position. It's so fucking coin flip. I mean, yeah, obviously then the mind games come in where the shooting player potentially doesn't trush. Is Salad housed? Yes, he is. Unfortunate. Oh, he is aware. Good luck. Good luck knows what's up. He knows the plan. Unfortunate. I wanted to see the straggler trap, honestly. Oh! Orlu, thank you for the raid. We are casting some matches from the Fox Invitational show match series. We've got Denmark A taking on Pub, aka Great Britain plus Dave Hun. Or Dave Who, I should say. I hope you guys had a good time. I think Ornu was casting some TTL Rex, I believe. Hope you had some good games there. And we do see the Chuden Trush coming in right now. Tree Hop is still massively work, but there's a Palisade. I guess you can always just chop and then bash the Palisade wall, but you can only get 2 vills to attack it with that position. But yeah, unfortunately, they did not scout the straggler tree on the wall. And yeah, it definitely makes sense, I think, to break in from this top side instead of on the front, because it's much harder to wall the longer surface area that you see up on this side. And we do see the double Feudal Scout. Red's in the middle killing off Grey Scout, makes sense. Getting rid of the Turk Lycav. Honestly, Good Luck is underreacted to this a little bit. I think he needs to send like 3 vills and build a bunch of houses to block all of these stone walls so they can't get bashed down. Like a single Palisade wall, the tower will probably just shoot it down by the time the villagers break through the Palisade wall. Break through the stone wall. Yeah, you need to build a bunch of buildings to block off all the closest ones to buy as much time as possible. I guess he does only need to buy a minute's time before he can start building counter towers, but again, the Chuden towers still just absolutely clap hands with the extra arrows that they fire. We do see the Cumin TC going up right now. A Blacksmith as well, so we're going to see the early fletching to make the towers even more efficient, extra range. He does luckily have a back ult. He's not taking any stone yet. Does that mean he's just going to try to FC his way out of it? I mean, he's close to having the food to go up. He's obviously going to need to build his market and his blacksmith as part of a wall somewhere to keep out the trush. Okay. Steak is a little bit confused. He's unsure where to go. He's scouted the stone. So I guess trushing the stone denies any chance of Turk Jinseries, which is the problem that they're facing. So even if he doesn't get any further into their base, this trush is probably a success already at this point. The Turks will have to commit to a Mangonel or 2 to clean up the tower first, before they can then go any further. On this top side, both players are actually going up to castle pretty quickly, so we're probably not going to have the fast imp monks that we were discussing. Maybe a castle age monk push, potentially, from the Portuguese player. Wall him in. Potentially, it could be a play. Grey should be sending bills to go mine the pocket stone. I don't hate the idea. The problem is just going to be doing that without being scouted. I guess he does have a narrow band there that he can sneak through. We do see Davon setting his scout back onto the side, maybe just to check out what Blue's going for. What killed Boo's scout there? Boo's scout is still here. Boo's scout is behind the tower. Do you mean Blue Scout? Blue Scout was killed by Dave, I think. Where's the KD tab? I just got all the way around. Yeah, Dave Scout, I think, killed it. Yeah, up here was Blue Scout from Salad. Yeah, no, yeah, that was Blue, so it wasn't Boo. Boo is down here attacking away at the market now. I guess the market is going to go down eventually, but Grey will make its castle age, probably drop a siege workshop to defend himself. Over here, no sign of forward villages, so if there is a monk play, it's not going to be a forward one. And then we're also seeing a very, very late castle age coming from Street Pete. What is going on right here? Is he just going to go straight into 40Cs? Because he's up 30 pop. Pete will boom hard, but like he needs to buy stone still, and he doesn't quite have the wood yet. I mean, he does have quite a bit of time until he hits castle age, so he might have the wood by then. Be wholesome and enjoy some Age of Empires. I mean, yeah, obviously, that's the chat rules. Would you see a TC coming up? Is this the real Robo-Borrow from Discord? Yes. I don't know if there are any fake Robo-Borrows floating around. Not that I'm aware of. Disaster boom from Pete? I do agree. TC on stone and gold. Another TC. He's going for Two-man saw? I hate that. I think a 4th TC would be far more value than having 10% extra wood income. That's such a bait. Like, two-man saw is so expensive even as Burgundians, and such a waste of resources. You just do an extra TC, man. And like, you could be up for 3 TCs, minus the two-man saw, and do like 23 plus 2 as Burgundians, probably. Like, you could be already up to, you know, 45 vills close to. Should have bought a 4th TC? I 100% agree. Eventually, good luck. We'll kill this tower as long as he stays on point of the repairs. Oh, but the market has now gone down. Needs to be worried about scouts. Are we going to see forward stables? No, boost stables are at home. But yeah, as soon as some knights come in here, Grey's going to have a... He killed his own market, did he? Oh, shit. Oh! Oh, no. Oh, no. Titanic. Titanic? Oh. Oh, rip. That feels bad. Now he can't even buy and sell anything. Oh. Rough indeed. So he can't build a 30C unless he already bought stone. Which he did not. Oh. That is painful indeed. We've got 2 TCs from blue. 2 TCs from orange and 2 monasteries. And I hear something being converted. He's just going for a scout in the middle and collecting relics. I don't think a 3rd TC helps him here. I mean, isn't just going 2 TCs kind of doing nothing, essentially? Because if you're going to boom, you should boom with 3 TCs so you got more vills. And if you're not booming, you should be, you know, doing whatever aggressive strat you're going for. He's even idling both of his TCs at the moment. Is he going for fast imp? I guess... If you're going to go fast imp, why would you bother building the 2nd TC? Yo, like... The amount of idle time that you've had between the 2 TCs, you may as well just had 1 TC. Would you see the 4th TC finally being added for Street Pete? But, this is not looking great. There is just a large amount of siege, and he has rebuilt a market foundation to stop any knights running in and killing his, mangonels. Potentially going to lose a villager or 2. Yep, 1 goes down right there. The Scorpion taking some hits from the Scout, but really not going to do too much. Scout does get taken down in the end. First tower is destroyed now. But the Siege and Monk play is starting to come forward. We've got a Ram, we've got a Mangonel. It looks like blue is going to hit Imperial Age and then get overrun by the Cuban Knights. Stake will hit Castle Age and do plus 3 TCs. Makes a lot of sense. Yep, he has big ego behind the trush. He probably just needs to run away with these vills, to be honest. You know, you're always risking that they, you know, get killed by a Mangonel or something if you're not paying attention. But actually, Boo is heading over here with some knights, but it is all walled, as far as I can tell. So the knights can't... Oh, actually, they could get around the bottom side of that market if they wanted to. Maybe they're just doing it to try to bait blue? But no, they see the siege weapons are here. Blue knows that there is the potential for shenaniganry to open up on the front of his base. Boo's doing a horrible job at... Oh, okay. Oh, he broke in! What are you doing, Grey? I was going to say that Boo's throwing by taking some Mangonel shots with his knights, but instead, the knights are going to come in here and clean up all of these siege weapons, and all of a sudden it's Grey that's Titanicking instead of blue. Instead of Boo. We see the siege workshop coming in for his own Mangonels to push Grey a little bit. Only doing the 2 extra TCs. Blue had to delete his siege workshop so that he doesn't get converted with the redemption monks already. This is an interesting way to play it, to be honest. Oh, is he going for a castle drop? Mr. Dave, yes he is. So he doesn't go instantly for the monks. He instead does a little bit of a boom, he starts making monks and getting upgrades, and then comes forwards later on. Don't attack around your monks, please. That would not be ideal. Castle position to keep this area open. I feel like Boo can just start to send his Night Flood over to blue right now, and he should just get absolutely destroyed. He's also going for the conversion on the market right here. Yep. Now I can start trade booming with your market. Thank you very much. 4th TC on the way for Boo. He's not very close. He's nowhere near clicking him. But we do see the Imp is on the way for Mr. Dave Hunt. The boom is beginning for stake. We've got the Mangonels coming out. Grey is in a rough position. Green is on the way up to Imperial Age now. He's getting Loom. He's not one of those no Loom gamers. What did Blue go in for? It's obviously has to be for bomber cannons, right? But yeah, there's the first bomber cannon. It's hiding behind that house. The thing is that I think as soon as Dave hits Imp, which is like really not that far away, and he gets block printing, he's just gonna start stealing these bomber cannons for his own use. Honestly, he probably needs to delete or like kill another piece of wall or two to make it a bit easier for the knights to come in and micro his monks and siege weapons around, because the bomber cannons could potentially get some attack rounds off on that opening. Yeah, okay, he has recognized that. He's killing it with castle fire now. I like that. I like that indeed. Oh, the Mangonel trades. He's stream cheating. I mean, everybody knows that the best gameplay advice you get it from Robo's channel. Now, continuing to try to get in there and snipe some of these bomber cannons with the monks. We do have block printing on the way right now. Knights diving in. The monks are hiding inside the TT, but the bomber cannons should probably lose a couple of them. Does he get any conversions? No, he does not. He's got 2 or 3 spearmen. The bomber cannons are about to fall. We're going to see Trebs on the way as well for Dave Hunt, and I do think that Blue is going to get absolutely defeated right here. There's one bomber cannon that could potentially get converted. Nope, instead he dies. We do see a castle being added in for Street Beat and Burgundian Paladin Flood on the way soon. Boo is not that far away from clicking up to Imp. He just needs some gold. He can probably just sell some stone and click right up. He also does need the buildings, unfortunately. Yeah, he's going to rush up those buildings, getting his way up to Imperial Age. Blue's losing villages left, right, and center. The Organ Guns and the Monks and the Treb are absolutely going to clean up Blue here. Boo just came in with enough knights to clean up the siege and give Dave the forward position that he needed. Burgundian Palace side, that should be held. There are the walls. Oh! Walling in blue. Blue should have invested into block printing monks to defend. I definitely agree with that. I agree. Monks, plus then add in the siege afterwards. He does actually yoink away a bomber cannon right there. Blue is just going to get absolutely defeated, and the GG is being called. Incredibly solid play from Pub. I think that Blue didn't go for the best strat. Like, if he was going to, as I keep saying, like, if you're going to fast imp, you should be fast imping. Like, I think I much prefer the way that Dave did his fast imp. Like, he did the 2 TCs, but he still collected some relics, and he then got a forward position before he imps, right? He added the Ram, the Mangonel, the fully upgraded Castle Age monks, basically, and then got an instant castle into his base once he'd made it there. And, like, the uptimes are probably not going to be that different. Right, he's up 2 minutes slower, but he has already a decently potent army with some siege, some monks, and a forward castle. And then on the other side, I think as soon as you know you're against students, you can't just let them trust you. Because you're always going to take a bunch of damage. And oh boy, it was actually a 50-50 poll. Somebody was just donating puntos to the pub enjoyers. That does mean that we're going to go into game number 4, which I expect will be Chaos Pierce. Win, win, and win. Very impressive game from the pubs. It's so bad to play Burgundians if you don't know how to play them. I completely agree. I mean, I think that his builds, it wouldn't have been ideal, but if he had instantly done the 4th TC instead of doing 2-man saw, it would have been manageable. But as soon as he just instantly did 2-man saw, it's like it gives you half the benefit of the Feudal Age and the Castle Age upgrades while costing 200 wood. It's so expensive. If you're aiming for Palo, there's really no reason not to just 3TC into 24-minute imp. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Because the Paladin upgrade is so much cheaper, you get Cavalier on the way up, you want to use the timing spike from the faster Paladin, as opposed to a bigger boom for a potentially stronger army in terms of maybe like going for Coustier or Hell Bomber Cannon or something along those lines. Oh, let me update the score as well, by the way. It is 2-1. And I should turn off the starting soon, because we have definitely started at this point. Maybe you can wipe out Boo and Dave's army and they push back the bomber cannons. Yeah, I think that would make a lot more sense, going for the faster Paladin timing. Veggie, that's a good call. So, going into Chaos Pit, what do we think about these civs? Magyars? One of Incas and Byzantines? Probably Incas. And then probably Burmese? But maybe Tatars? One of Incas, Byzantines, and then one of Tatars and Burmese. Versus Poles, Slavs, and Goths. It could be both Inca and Biz. I agree with that, but I feel like if you do Inca and Biz, there's no way you're ever winning Team Islands. Right? So you either try to hedge your bets and win both games, or if you go all in for this game, you're probably never winning Team Islands. Full landing. I guess. But at that point, it should be incredibly obvious, right? Saracens, Tatars, Burmese. They're not going to play long-term wars against Italians and Vikings. So, we tried a full landing in NC practice. I mean, I think the best way to do that would be with proper water sieves, right? Like Italians, Vikings, and Sicilians, you would never expect them to do a triple landing, right? But then you've got, obviously Vikings doing archers, Italians doing whatever, and Sicilians probably playing scouts. Like, that's so unexpected because their water sieves are so powerful. Whereas a triple landing with 3 shit sieves, it's not unexpected, and it's reasonable to assume that the other team prepares for it in some way. Right? Maybe you have 2 players do counter landing, with like one doing scouts and one doing archers. Or skirms, or something like that, right? It was terrible in NC. I think that also in a 4v4, it's much harder to make a larger landing pay off because there's more players benefiting from having extra fish. So the eco disadvantage, in theory, should start to snowball much faster. I got caught off in our 3v3 Team Islands game because of how small the island was, I forgot. I mean, I think your landing kind of worked out because you managed to Vil fight some Vils that didn't have Loom. So, I think that game versus One Punch worked out just fine in the end for you guys. I mean, yeah, like I said that after you'd killed the first Vil, you needed to start jumping into your transport ship with the low HP Vils and coming back again. Instead, you sort of overinvested and you killed a couple more Vils, but then lost your Vils as well. Wanted to lower the scout HP for relanding. Hmm. Makes some sense. I mean, it's much easier for me to say this in hindsight, and while casting with full vision of what's going on. And we are confirmed that game number 4 will be Chaos Pit. Oh, stakes in the chat. Very nice trust you had there. We were we were a little bit sad that you didn't scout the straggler tree in the Turk players' walls. We were praying for a sneaky chop and break in. We thought that would be pretty hilarious. Yeah, there was a straggler tree on like the very bottom of the south wall, near where the market was, and yeah, it would have been absolutely insane if you'd been able to just chop and then walk in. But he did build a palisade wall behind it in Dark Age. Um, he was paying attention. But game number 4 is just about to start. Here we go. Game number 4. We are on Chaos Pit. We do have correct colors this time as well. For pub, we've got Darvoy as the Slavs on the flank. We've got King Boo as the Poles pocket, and then Goths on the other flank for Davon. We were sort of tossing up a little bit between Slavs and Poles to see which one would be the pocket. I think Slavs make more sense for the early game, potentially, and then late game, or I guess like the middle of Castle Age, Poles overtake them with their Night Flood. But on the other side, Street Pete, we've got as the Byzantines, we have Magyars for good luck, and then Salad as the Incas. Oh boy. So they've used Byzantines here instead of on Team Islands. So as we were discussing between game, they're going all in to win this game and try to take it to the decider, but then they have close to zero chance of actually winning Team Islands with no good water sieves. Without the field healing, you can't just go heal wars. Pocket is fine. True. But my thinking is more that the Poles have a much more flexible tech tree for playing on flank. In that they actually have, reasonably decent crossbows and arbs. So just playing them as a bit of a weird archer civ is not the end of the world. If that makes sense. Whereas Slavs, you really don't want to be playing heavy skirms and whatnot because they don't get, the Imperial Age archer upgrades. But with the poles in the pocket position, you're probably not going to be playing for Imp that hard anyway. Or at least the poles will be able to cover for your weaker Castle Age because their Castle Age is so powerful. So I guess that it isn't too much of a bad thing in that case. You end up just playing full spear anyway as Slavs. Yeah, that does make sense. You do see the lumber camps going up for all the players. And they're all building it on the correct sides of the wood line. You always want to take the wood on these straight edges because there are 3 trees to chop through to get to the outside and gain access to the golds, the relics, the extra stones, and whatnot. Whereas if you ever take a lumber camp on one of these diagonal spots, you have to chop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees most of the time. I guess there's maybe like a couple of positions where you might be able to find 3 trees, but you really want to take the straight edges to guarantee that. At stake, yeah. And we do see these players going for their back berries first of all. I wonder if it's an idea to instead take the front berries and eat as much of it as possible in the Dark Age, so that you can then move back to the safer berries later on if you get pushed. Whereas if you start with the back berries and then lose control of the front berries, you just never get any of that food back. Which is, potentially a little bit of a problem. We also see Boo just diving under the TC here. Is he going to steal all these cows? Okay, no, he only gets the 1 llama. Maybe not even the llama, to be honest, with the eagle and the other scout heading over here to harass him. Maybe he lets them take the llama and he goes back to Lamit. It incentivizes you to fight harder if your berries are at risk. I mean, true. True indeed. My risk-averse play patterns would probably tell me to take the front berries first, though. Just because if all hell breaks loose and the game is not going in a good direction, you can always move backwards. Even the pocket's doing the same thing. Like, for Boo, it makes sense. You want to have a back bulwark so that you can build farms around it. Like, no issues there. But I feel like almost all the other players, I'd want to be taking the front berries first. Like, yeah, exactly like this. Good job, Street Pete. I support this play. We do see Loom coming in. We've got 19 pop right now. 4 good luck as Magars. We also have 20 pop. Whoa, is that some mad idle time? Not really. Is Dave going up without Loom? No, he's got Loom. Oh, he's Goths. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Ugh! Silly River. I've got to wake up. Everybody is on the way up, except for Blue. Blue is... I guess he did spend quite a bit of villager time sitting inside his TC shooting at that scout instead of gathering food. And like, this is exactly the situation, right? Like, if you just fuck up your Dark Age ever so slightly, and you're just late up, I mean, I guess he could have done Loom a vill or two earlier, and he probably would have been fine. But like, if Orange just goes like an all-in trush with spears, like he just instantly loses both of his stones and his berries, and the game's basically over. Loon takes 1 second of idle time. For the Goths? What? I don't understand what you're trying to say, Netthrower. And we do see that Darvoy been very diligent microing his lumberjacks. He's almost chopped out already. It's not. Okay, yeah. It's almost instant. Little It takes like a second or two to research. And we do see the forward villages. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Am I Nostradamus or what? We're just gonna instantly see a tower here? Like, probably touching this wood line would be what I would expect. Is Blue gonna see this is the question. Nope. Oh, he sees the scout maybe. Oh, he does see the tower. And look, he's still 50 seconds away. I guess, yeah, you just send the boys and you try to fight this off. Could always, oh, no, he notices that the straggler tree could be a weakness. The boxing gloves are out, but the tower is going to go up, and this berries is just denied now. Just horrible feeling right now. We see double eco upgrades coming in for Mr. Boo. Only double bit axe for the teal pocket. And like he's also lost both of his stones. I guess technically he can take this stone, but it's not exactly a safe stone. We do see the spears starting to poke forwards. Bills had to come off stone for the time being. But they will be back. The tower is fully walled in. Where does the next tower go? I mean, now that you see that there's an archery range, do you maybe just drop it in front of the barracks and just snake your way around? I guess you just... Does Darvoy know about the woodline? He does. So you could potentially try to tower here, but it's not going to touch the woodline very effectively. Instead, we're just walking through the middle of the map, it seems. We're going to go crush the pocket, potentially. Over on the top side, there was an attempt at a trush from Mr. Dave. But it is a Byzantine defensive tower, but it is actually out of range of the tower for the time being. So this tower will go up, but it doesn't really deny anything specifically, and more just gains map control and map presence. Okay, and we do see the tower starting to go up, trying to deny the pocket berries as well. But, the tower will be denied, forcing up the counter tower. And the spears are just punching away at each other. We just see the extra attack, the free forging for the Magyars. It's actually quite effective here in the early game. The spears from Mr. Darvoy are absolutely required to try to keep this forward position alive. The skirms really are not doing too much. They help clean up the spears, but they're not useful at all against the scouts. And Pub are hard team wall in the middle of the map. I do like this play. We do see the Folwark farm starting to be set up. Second Folwark as well on the other set of berries. We do see red almost chopped out, and orange is on his way, getting those stone walls up, securing this bottom corner. And... what? I guess you just bash down this wall, and then you go kill the tower slowly? But is that villager just gonna die? Yeah, it is. What are you doing, Salad? Are you just gonna take these berries underneath... oh, he keeps misclicking on a tree behind it. Well, we do see quite a lot of army here in the middle, though. Orange has got essentially nothing right now. He's not really contributing any army. Darvoy, what are you doing? You're slacking for the team right now. Eco KD 1 to 7. What the fuck? How did you lose 7 vills? I mean, I understand losing the 3 or 4 vills that were forward, but how did you lose 7? Lost it all to scooters? But 0. 1. Still 1. Still 1. 3. How did you lose? Did you send more villagers forward that I didn't notice that got killed? Potentially. That was clumsy. Oh, and there's two more back here as well. Okay, makes sense. Clumsy, clumsy plays from Darvoy right there. We see two towers on the front side from Mr. Davon. But the army lead that Denmark has right now is quite considerable. We do see a very late horse collar coming in for good luck right there, after he's already built a bunch of farms. But he has chopped out. He's going for goals. There's no sign of any walls on either side yet for Denmark. I guess this is a bit of a pickle for late game. Is that the Goth player can't actually stonewall, so Boo potentially has to send one of his villagers over to this position to get up stonewalls behind these walls to secure the outside. I think go for double trush with a slow pocket really hurts. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, but obviously we're saying this in hindsight, right? But it definitely does seem a bit of a risky play. We do see Boo being forced into a counter tower, but this tower is out of range of the tower that Grey wants to make. I don't actually see any of Grey's vills, though. So I'm not sure how he plans to make this tower. But I guess this is mostly just to defend his follow-up for the time being. Yeah, in hindsight, of course. Yeah, makes sense. I do like the walls Darvoy has, and honestly, if I was Darvoy, I would just, like, sacrifice the one bill and try to get back here and build extra layers of wall, right? If you could get a more forward wall here, you know, you potentially wall off teal and blue across this line to prevent them from trading later in the game. Just be a real pest with that villager behind their lines. Teal is actually cutting production, it seems, to try to go up to Castle Age, while Boo is forced to continue to invest into pretty heavy scouts. He doesn't yet have a blacksmith. He does actually have a blacksmith. He just hasn't done any of the upgrades yet. He's done scale mail armor. Has he misclicked and done the wrong upgrade? Boo, that is silly. This tower foundation is still sitting here and still haunting me. Grey, are you going to build the tower or are you not going to build the tower, my man? And if Boo doesn't notice, like, he thinks he has +1 armor, but actually he doesn't. And he's just potentially... Oh, there's also a hole here that Teal could just dive through. If Dave is not paying attention. Does he go for the dive? Does he? Oh, he's in with 4 scouts. Only the 4 scouts, but 4 scouts is probably enough. They are Magar scouts, remember. They do have the free forging. And we have 2 players on the way up to Castle Age, whereas we only have Dave Hun on the way up. Boo does clean up most of Blue's army in the middle of the map. But he does take a lot of damage against the decent amount of skirms and spears that were there. The tower has been cleaned up eventually. The berries are being eaten away. But Teal is just being incredibly active with these scouts, trying to avoid taking a direct engagement, and just trying to find bills to pick off wherever he can. I'd like that gate to try to block them in a little bit. They're going to walk into some spears as well. They will die pretty quickly. Shouldn't he just dive Boo with those 4 scouts? Potentially? I mean, it's easy to say that when we see this, but like, there's a lot of injured villagers near Dave's TC, right? You could quite easily have picked off 2 or 3 of those if he had noticed the correct bills, you know, if you'd highlighted them correctly. Well, Blue's going for forward palisade walls. You're supposed to stonewall Salad. Consider the team wall and follow-works. And also, like, the pole vills heal themselves, right? So it's that much harder to actually kill them, because any injured vills from earlier in the game are going to be, you know, close to full HP already. And we do actually see Boo is forced to send the villager forwards. There, probably, to go get those stone walls up, as called out earlier. All the farms are isolated. Ah, true indeed. True indeed. I'm not sure where Mr. Boo's going. Maybe he's going to try to sneak out this outside and get into Blue's base. Like, he's not even stonewalled here. Is he going for a castle? Yes, he is. That's why he's not spending his stone. That makes a lot of sense. Danger at Darvoy's base. Oh, yes, indeed. We do have the forward castle coming in. Over on this side. How far away is Dave from a castle? Absolutely nowhere. He's going for a 3 TC boom. Dude, this is Chaos Pit. You can't just sit there and boom. I mean, I guess you can, but... Okay. Panic stations. We are going to lose my base. Danger, danger. Quickly wall out Boo's eco so that he can be safe. Extra forward is back here. Got some vills from Dave somehow walking the way in this way. You're gonna also need to wall in this wood line. And I guess just evacuate all of these villages. It's on the way up to castle. He's taking into longswords. Interesting play. Gonna take some serious gamering to turn this around. I don't think that's very likely at this point. I mean, I guess he can always do these walls on the either side of his wood line. Let's go for a house instead. He is mining stone, so he should have... Yeah, he's got enough stone to do it if he has to. Quick walls are going up everywhere possible, but all these builds in the TC are just going to die at some point. He's getting fletching so that he can range the TC, and he denies this wall as well. Does Boo get his quick walls up? Oh, yes he does. Yes, indeed he does. But Boo almost has the stone for a castle. I guess he's probably just going to be forced to drop it next to this TC to essentially defend his folwarks. Would be... Oh, there's a hole over here. But Teal does not notice that. But yeah, like, all these villas in Darvo's TC are just permanently idle or dead at this point, I would say. I mean, I guess he could potentially try to, like, rush up these walls. But, while Teal is distracted, attacking this lumber camp, or mining camp. And we do see the longsword plays starting to come in, but he's got absolutely no food eco, so he can't really afford to make longswords. He does have free, supplies, so they are that little bit cheaper. And oh, Boo! Potentially trying to kill some villas at the back, but really not getting anything. We've got 3 TCs coming up. Oh, actually, there is a lot of dead scouts back here. Boo did manage to kill 4 vills, which is not too bad. And Salad's still got these vills just roaming around, and look at this, just microing the Kamioks against the longswords as much as possible. Trying to abuse that extra range. The vills are leading the charge here, which is... Oh, 4-vill castle. I guess that's a play. And actually, Boo is going for 3... Well, actually, no, only 2 TCs before he goes for his own castle to get Schlachter privileges. I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest. We see a castle coming up the top side from Dave Hunt to secure his eco. Darvo is doing everything possible to keep his TC standing, defend his farming eco right there. But Boo is going to lose this folwark. Like, just guarantee. Like, these houses are going to go down. This will constantly be raided. So he's going to have to migrate all of his eco out of the center. And it is overchopped and just a palisade gate, so it's incredibly vulnerable right there. We also see Grey now coming forwards for a castle. He's got mangonels, he's got skirms, he's got crossbows. And while this is going on, Teal is even going for a 4th TC to continue booming away. And we do see a slight Vill lead for Team Pub, but that's almost entirely because Dave is just like, yo, you guys are on your own. Deal with your own shit, I'm just gonna boom. What is Pub's win condition? I don't know. I mean, I would normally say that just Poles doing massive Night Flood and just trying to raid the shit out of everyone's eco, like, this is completely open. If Boo just all of a sudden, you know, had 30 or 40 knights and is just constantly diving everyone's farm eco, getting back here, harassing these TCs, then that potentially gives a chance for Dave to then get to Imperial Age and then Infantry Flood and kill everyone. But... Oh, we've got another castle coming up. Salad, just all in on the cheap Inca castles. Okay, he sacrifices that Vill. Make sure that the gate doesn't stay open to let the knights into his single TC economy back here. But Darvo is just 100% out of this game at this point. There's absolutely nothing that he can do that is useful. Probably needs a stone wall behind this house at some point. But, okay. We do finally see Boo building the castle. Definitely a good position to build it in, to secure the entrance to the outside where his economy is. The issue is, really, that Teal can always just roam this way and raid red. Boo can raid around the outside and ignore the middle. True. There are absolutely no walls from Grey for the time being. So yeah, Boo has options for using the Night Flood. The problem is that he's just lost half of his farms. Right, he's only got 1.5 folwarks at the moment. So, it's not exactly easy for him to afford Slutcher and then afford all the knights that he needs to make after that. So Denmark is actually in prime position to dominate this game, to be honest. We do see that Dave is starting to make some Huskars. He has done Anarchy as well, so it's not an imp play it seems. He's going to play for Castle Age instead. He's also making Huskarls out of this forward barracks, which is a little bit unfortunate, because they're just sort of walking into this army and potentially just getting killed. I do have to say that I really don't like building TCs on the center wood line, because it just means that you continue opening gaps that people can raid you from. I would much prefer the TCs to be back here on these other wood lines to avoid overchops later in the game. Denmark's losing condition is not walling. I would definitely agree with that. Like, Grey needs to get forwards and, like, wall over here somewhere. And then, at a minimum, they need to stonewall all of these entrances to stop knights running back. We do see Slasher on the way. We've got Handcart as well. But there are actually, like, a decent number of Kamioks out here on the field. And Grey is now on the way up to Imperial Age as the Byzantines. Byzantines also made a single cataphract. He could potentially make even more cataphracts to try to fight off the Goth spam that might be coming. Alternatively, he just makes cheap helms to fight the Poles. He's trying to break through here to get into the majority of Dave van Zico. And like, this is exactly what I mean. Like, every time these villagers continue chopping forwards, they risk over-chopping. The TCs always build them further back from the middle. Game is Fook, very Fook. Yes, it's Oh. And like, this is just like added insult to injury, right? Having resources near the center wood line means you can be ranged by ranged units or annoying as fuck castle drops like this. This denies a little bit of his fall works. Definitely denies his TC and this gold income. Dave would definitely benefit with 2 more TCs. I mean, considering that he's lost the middle one, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I don't know why he's even trying to take this fight. I guess Boo has a couple of knights here to help out, but I feel like... Oh, yeah, no, here comes more reinforcements. They are going to clean up some of this army. But I think that Grey should stop trying to make crossbows and instead just full switch into halbs. I guess his food eco isn't really that amazing to be able to afford the halbs, which is the problem with his low eco fast imp sort of play. But Salad, I think, has just done such an amazing job this game that Denmark's really going to have to throw to lose this. They're in such a good position. The Kamioks as well just, like, absolutely stop Boo from doing anything wherever they roam around. There's no sign of any... I guess there's a siege workshop over here. We go for a longsword battering ram play on the sides. Also, he probably needs to be careful of these villagers not overchopping around this wood line, but it's not really a priority at the moment. They're continuing to try to dive, and oh yes, Grey is now recognizing, hey, let's build some really fucking weird stone walls. What is going on back here? Why are you walling out your trade corner? This is where you want to trade! This looks like an unbuilt wall there. Like, these walls, good. Those walls are great. These walls, not good. Oh. Yes, question mark. Exactly. That is the only correct response at this moment. Really feels like Pub misread this game. Yes, I think so. I think that both of the flanks just stopped making army at the wrong moment. And yeah, Dave is eventually going to get broken into now. There's crossbows to prevent villagers from rewalling. They're behind in builds, they're behind in army, they're behind in ages, right? We've got 2 players on the way to Imperial Age. This is open now. There are Kamioks and Knights getting into Red Zico. He was the healthiest of the players, and all of a sudden he is not. Funnily enough, Darvoy might end up having the most vills in a very short amount of time. The Ram Longsword play is actually getting in here a little bit on the sides. Pascals, they're trying to go for a raid, but there's Trebs coming forwards. Obviously, the Polish Night Flood is potentially scary, but how many stables does he actually have? I mean, he's building a lot of stables, let's be fair. But there's just so much scary army. And as long as Salad keeps making Kamioks, which he is not doing. I mean, he's got a decent number here to help out. And I guess he's probably a little bit preoccupied with the annoying shit that's going on the outside of his base over here. The walls are still not actually completed. That's a very forward wall, I must say. I do like it. But there's just holes everywhere. Let's see the defeat screen first. I mean, I don't... I don't know what pub is able to do very shortly. Because the Polish Night Flood, you want to disrupt their economies. Ooh, that is unfortunate. That's a lot of villas going down. You want to use the cheap unit spam that you have in, early to mid castle age when it's most effective. You're killing 20 or 30 vills at this stage of the game. While it would hurt someone's eco, it's not game ending anymore. Because all the players are relatively healthy. Leaking walls everywhere. Oh, yes. Yes, indeedy. And now the longswords are just going to get cleaned up by the Magyar Knights. They do have the free +4 attack from hitting Imp, and Cavalier and +4 armor is on the way. Arbs and Kamyuks pushing the Goth player. He's not actually queuing anything at the moment. Okay, he's queued a single villager. I think they are recognizing that this looks like it's pretty over. There's a couple of random Kamyuks raiding in the back as well. Boost now has to run away from 2 Kamyuks. Forward castle coming in from Teal, going to push on the outside into Darvoy as well. Paladin anytime soon. Let's take a look at the resources. Yes. Yes, indeed, we are going to see Paladin. There is a pikeman poking away at a villager back here. The Huskarls were cleaned up. There are a few random cataphracts roaming around. More TCs being built. At this stage, we are just waiting for the GG to come in. A couple more trebs would probably be useful to kill this castle. Yep, and there is the Paladin. Quick. No one. I mean, I guess technically Dave could be close to going up to Imp. But what's the point? I don't think he's going to have time to make it to Imp. There's just Kamyuks and Arbs roaming through his base. There are going to be Paladin here very, very shortly. There's just a bunch of walls. There's still a hole here, and we do see the GG. Darvoy is up. Oh, true. True, he was up. But I'm not sure what he makes. Like, he's forced to make Helbs to fight off the cataphracts. The Paladin, sorry. But then there are still Arbs and Kamyuks roaming around to counter these Halberdiers. That was a really well-played game from Denmark, I must say. They did a great job there, and it could definitely be argued that Pub underreacted. They've lost mid-feudal age, and then as soon as you lose all map control on a map that's this close, you should expect a forward castle. And they just had no way of stopping this castle, just basically taking Darvoy out of the game for 20 minutes. Denmark outplayed in all roles and in coordination. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think that Good Luck and Boo played fairly equivalently. The issue was that Boo was forced to stay feudal age for much longer and make many more scouts because he was the only one on his team really making army. Right? If he was able to cut scout production at the same time as Teal, he would have been up to Castle Age at a similar time, and then started his boom faster, and then got the Pole Knight spam going faster as well. And like obviously getting the infantry armor instead of the cav armor definitely didn't help. Like that's obviously a mistake, but was able to pick off Darvoy Bills for free. I mean, yeah, but you can't blame Boo for that. You can't say that Boo played worse than Good Luck because Darvoy, Titanics. That's not something that Boo can control. Like, he can't randomly pick off villagers from the other players because they aren't doing that same, just streaming across the middle of the map. You did more individually. Yes, I guess. But I think that there's just different ways of approaching the situation, to be honest. Let's update the score. It is 2-all. The Civs, we got a win. We got a win. And we have a win. Which means that we are, unfortunately, probably going to see a pretty lackluster Team Islands game. Where we have Saracens, Tatars, and Burmese versus Italians, Vikings, and Sicilians. Italians and Vikings are two of the S-tier water civs, and Sicilians, if you're planning on doing landing shenanigans, with the cheaper transports and then the extra food on your farms when you get horse collar, is actually a pretty nice bonus. So you could even say that that's like arguably an A-tier Team Island civ, whereas Saracens is the only real S-tier civ that Denmark has any access to. And even then, their strength comes from the faster firing galleys and then macro market abuse to get up the castle age and imp faster, which doesn't really work if you don't have good other water civs to support you. Because you might win your 1v1, but another water civ is just going to lose their 1v1, and then you're going to lose your fish and be attacked and be in a 2v1 situation. So it's sort of like the edge of S tier or the top of A tier sort of situation for Saracens, in my opinion. The question is, does Pub pull in Big Boy Fangi to ensure that they win the game? Do they need the Fangi carry pants to get them through? Pub losing games here fucks over Aussies. I mean, it doesn't matter. We were never going to make top two because we've already lost two series. And there's only prize money for top two, so it doesn't really matter anymore. Fangi or Riot? You hear that, Fangi? If you're still here, we need you. Pride. I mean, I still don't think it matters. Like, assuming that Pub wins this, which, you know, is a little bit of a assumption. There is a chance that Denmark wins. Like, third place is just purely going to come down to our 1v1 with Denmark. The rest of the results won't matter if we're both 0-2 at that point. And honestly, well, actually, if Denmark wins this, and then we 3-0 Denmark, no, we still probably don't make it. So yeah, we need Pub to win, and then we need to beat Denmark if we want a third. Oh, actually, if head-to-head is the second tiebreaker, then even if Denmark wins this, it doesn't matter. It's purely down to their match versus us. Because if they beat Pub and then we beat Denmark, we're at 1-1 for series, and then we win the head-to-head tiebreaker. So this match really doesn't matter at all for us fighting Denmark for bottom. But if Denmark wins this and then they beat Aussies as well, then they jump into second. So different teams are fighting for different things. It also doesn't matter for Pub vs Fox, same reasons. Um, no, not necessarily. Because even if Pub loses this, if they then beat Fox, then they both have 2-1, and Pub wins the head-to-head. So, Pub has everything to play for in every game, and then Aussies and Denmark have slightly less. Ah, so that's what you're saying? Yeah, yeah. Okay, true, makes sense. So this series is literally meaningless. Well, it's meaningless for everyone except for Denmark. It matters for Denmark, and you know, I guess Club has some pride and whatnot that they care about as well. But yeah, having head to head as the second tiebreaker instead of games won really does um screw with performances. Because it would feel pretty silly, I think, for Down Under to go 0-3, 0-3, and then 3-2, and then end up in third versus Denmark, who has had, you know, better results against the other teams. No, because head to head is the second tiebreaker, not games won. So like you can lose this and then beat Fox, and then you're both 2-1, and then because you've won the head to head, you end up in first place. because they're assuming that the tiebreakers on Wikipedia are accurate, which as I assume has to be the case. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny. Who is Pub? Pub is the GB Great Britain slash UK team featuring King Boo, Cappy, Steak, Darvoy, Fangita, and then also Dave Hun from Hungary. So it's primarily GB players. If we go to Fox, you can see the players in the team. If you want to check them out. Hey Pancho, how's it going? Nice and early, isn't it? The the lobby still shows the Chaos Pit, so it seems like there is still a little bit of a break going on for the players, getting ready for the final deciding game. So I guess if that's the case, then I might just duck out to the bathroom real quick, and then get myself ready for this deciding game. So I'll be back in just a second. And we are back just in time for the start of game number 5. We will get into it. We are going into Team Islands. We will be playing on the Nations Cup version of Team Islands because the default version has had its size increased, which makes this a bit of a stranger way to play. Would be the way that I would put it. Where there's extra land and landing becomes a lot more impactful, I think, and water play is a little bit less useful because it's a lot longer distance to get to the enemy. And then also because there's so much more land, it's much easier to land without being just detected. Trading becomes more impactful. You've got more wood per player as well, potentially, I think. So it's a little bit of a mess in that regard. But for Denmark, we do have the Saracens, the Burmese, and the Tatars. Only one of these civs, the Saracens, is something that you would actually consider a proper water civ. So I would very much expect some heavy landing shenanigans if they really want to have a chance at winning this game. because their opponents are the Vikings, are the Italians, and are the Sicilians. So I think that they just straight up can't win a long-term water fight because the power of the Vikings and the Italians is just too much. And obviously, we would probably expect to see a landing coming in from the Sicilians because they do have cheaper transports as their team bonus, which helps make that happen. So we're potentially going to see Cappy landing, somewhere in this region between grey and green. And then consequently, we have blue and green double landing in the center, would be what I would expect. Yeah, otherwise, we are just going to be chilling through the Dark Age. We'll just speed up a little bit because we are slightly behind the live time, and really, all that we're going to be seeing is players pushing their deer in, eating their boars, and then starting to add docks. So we've got a forward dock for blue, and a forward dock for grey, and then a back dock for green. So maybe green just plays counter landing to defend, and then we have blue and grey going for landings. Might be on the cards. We do see the transport ship already being created by Cappy at the moment. And we are caught up in game time now. A very early loom for Salad Escape, to be honest. Was he housed? Potentially. Definitely not an ideal situation to be in, to do loom that early. It does slow down your age up ever so slightly. It does cost you a little bit of resources gathered. We see here, Boo, getting ready to click up. Is he going up without loom? It looks like that might be the case. He's got 500 food. Yep, he is up without loom, so he's gone up with one extra villager instead. He's going to do loom as soon as he hits feudal age. We've got a transport ship on the way for the blue to Tars. Makes quite a bit of sense. And we have 2 villagers coming forwards from green. Okay, so we are going to see the double landing, and they're just going to use a single transport. So I guess 2 vills, 2 scouts, and only 1 vill for blue might be the case. For Burmese, probably plays scouts, and then potentially Tatars playing archers. Would make quite a bit of sense to me. Grey. Does that mean that Grey plays counterland? Your Grey's building a second dock. I don't see... I guess the idea would be that you want to just try to snipe fish as quickly as possible. But if you don't have somebody playing counter landing, and you are going for a double landing like this, aren't you just going to get destroyed by this one player? Because we're definitely seeing Davon go for defensive scouts. I wouldn't be surprised to see Boo... Oh, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if he just stays on 2 docks, expecting a double landing. Oh, we do see... Okay, this has now been scouted. You've seen 2 different players. If you're paying attention, you know that there's blue and green with villagers on this island. So that should indicate that Boo just needs to instantly, like, maybe make 2 or 3 galleys and go kill fish, and then full switch into land army. We've got the barracks at home for both players. Boo is actually just going to go straight into some stone walls. Remembering that they do have the Saracen bonus on any archers that they make. And they have actually picked off Dave on Scout there before he hit feudal age quite nicely. And Dave is going for instant double stable. We do have Loom coming in for him right now, and double bit axe. Woohoo! Double stable is intense. We also do need to remember that Cappy is going to be a little bit busy going for an archer landing of his own. So he's basically undefended at home. Called the double land. I like the reaction. I mean, I think the double landing was incredibly obvious when you think about the civs that they have. We do see the scouts already roaming around. Potentially, Boo's probably going to get these stone walls up. So he's going to be safe to go land, also to go water. But there's honestly not that much fish to kill. Right, there's 3 fish there, 3 fish here, and green has 3 fish at the back. So he might need to switch into archers pretty quickly to support Dave in his land play so that they don't get overwhelmed by scouts and archers. On the other side, though, we do have Cappy. Ooh, that's a defensive tower if ever I've seen one. So it looks like we're going to potentially see a forward tower from green. No, he's just chopping wood there. But a tower on these berries and gold would actually be huge, to be honest. That would really slow down Cappy's scout production. He's instantly going for a defensive tower himself. Makes sense. He is aware of the danger. The archers are coming forwards as well. I'm not sure how I feel about the double stable versus just instantly getting armor. I guess the numbers advantage is quite nice, but oh, this is unfortunate. Okay, the fast galley play from Grey is going to absolutely destroy Dave's almost all of his food income. He's got 2 villages on berries right now. That is all. Once these fish are dead, oh, he's got no way to keep making scouts. Oh, this is painful. And King Boo, he is playing water, but if he's not helping Dave on keeping his fish alive, what's the point, right? I was saying that there's only 9 fish from the enemy team that he can kill. Dave Hunt has already lost 6 fish, and he's almost going to have lost 9. He's killing Good Luck's fish too? I mean, yeah, sure, but like they're not relying on their fish for food eco, right? Dave is 100% relying on those fish. Like, Dave has now got basically no food left in the bank. He is capped at 8 scouts with bloodlines for the time being. I mean, I guess he's going to start banking wood and he can start making farms soon. Which is not the end of the world. We do see the defensive donjon and a defensive range at home for Mr. Capyfrax. His archer push is really not getting too much damage in. The defensive tower from green is a good job. But blue, massive underreaction. Like, we saw that Boo just instantly dropped stone walls to keep himself safe. Blue has done nothing of the kind, just going for palisades instead. And remembering that if Boo does win water control, then there is the potential to always just re-land and jump around these walls if he needs to. He does have galleys sneaking around the top side, trying to find Salad's fish. Although I say that, but a single fire ship from Cappy should do the job just as well. And we see a big cleanup right here for Dave. It seems that the number of scouts that he made, plus bloodlines, was enough for a cleanup. It looks like the Bills are now trying to go for a run. But look, Salad already on the way up to Castle Age. Absolutely cracked timing, abusing the Saracen market as much as possible. I think that Street Pete kind of... One range archers really doesn't add enough, in my opinion. He needed to get a second range as quickly as possible. Oh, and he's trying to wall in the Vills. One villager will be walled in. But remember that Cappy does have an archery range, so he just sends this one archer over here, and that villager will be taken down. And because they didn't land with the barracks either, with no barracks, they've got no way to make spears to help clean up these scouts. So the landing is dead for Denmark. Absolutely dead. Oh, he didn't even wall properly. There's a hole. So now Street Pete has lost his fish. He's lost his berries. He's forced to build a tower on his woodline and his gold. Dave going to tower it? I mean, the tower seems a little bit excessive to me. Like, as I said, Cappy's got 2 archers. Like, the 2 archers will kill that one villager. I don't think he should be worried about army fighting his scouts, but maybe that is something to keep in mind. The question is, how many galleys is Salad going to have when he makes it to the Castle Age? I mean, he's going to lose another 1 or 2, it seems, but he's going to have a fairly healthy number. But Boo has twice as many galleys. If we look at the KD, Boo is 11-2 in kills. Salad is 12-7, but most of that was killing Dave and Cappy's early fish. So he's actually been trading quite poorly against Boo when it comes to the pure water fight. Especially when you consider the fact that the Saracens do have faster firing galleys. But at this point, Boo is just going to run back home. Wait until he hits Castle Age in a minute and a half himself. We do see 2 archers here denying that berries. So actually, Cappy's landing as a single player has been far more effective than this double landing. We do see a couple of archers trying to sneak around, but they will be cleaned up by these scouts, and there is still a transport ship alive up here in the top for Cappy. If they can sneak it around past these galleys, then these upgraded scouts that do have bloodlines can just jump inside, jump over to this other island, and join in with Cappy's archers, and potentially, you know, try to deal some damage somewhere, would be the goal. And actually, Salad, he's in Castle Age. He's done Bodkinara, but he can't afford War Galley. Or does he just have it queued behind a galley somewhere? No. Why are you not doing War Galley, my man? I guess he's got no food eco. Because he doesn't have his berries and he sold his soul to get up. So he's just doing Castle Age. Oh. Green is continuing the landing attempt. I wonder if Boo saw that. I assume that he didn't. He's landing for a castle. What in the world? Is Skelly going to see this? Because, like, this could be denied, realistically. Like, the scouts plus the galleys? Oh. Yeah, no resources for upgrades, you can't afford villas. Yep. We caught that in the end. Yeah, now as soon as Boo gets War Galley, he's just going to absolutely clean this. The castle, honestly, the castle could still be denied. There's only 5 villages. If Boo sees it, is the question, though. Oh. Does he notice? Does he notice? Does he notice? Oh, yes, he does. Oh, that's... I think that's GG right there. I mean, that was like one of the few places that they could actually even attempt to build that castle, to be honest. And Dave bringing the scouts over is just like a last little... just to make sure that it doesn't go up somehow. Well, I think that should be GG now. You're 20 vills behind, you're 20 army behind. Your water player can't even afford War Galley. Cappy's even docking the back of their island. He still has archers sort of floating around, threatening to deal damage here and there. Blue has made defensive archers to defend this. Red is going to hit Castle Age soon, though. Oh, we do see another landing from Blue. Instantly walking into War Galleys and Scouts. Grey not luring him away from the castle is so bad. True. True indeed. I guess there's always the potential to just try to sacrifice your galleys so that the castle go up, but if you sacrifice your galleys, you're never getting back on water in significant numbers to be useful, is the problem there. And we're going to see a bit of a crossbow battle coming in soon from Red versus Blue. We see even some defensive monks from Good Luck. Maybe just going for the relic. He's trying to convert a spearman. Not exactly the best unit option, I believe. There is still the stable, though. Imagine if Good Luck makes like 10 battle elephants inside the stable and just walks up to someone's TC and deletes it. I mean, wouldn't that be a play? I guess that Dave's going to add a ram just to, 100% make sure that this castle doesn't get built. It seems like a reasonable play to me, to be honest. Where you see the bit of a crossbow battle coming in here. Blue is microing, red is not. So he gets a couple of free kills there at the start of the game. But now Boo, just with his big navy, is continuing to just roll forwards. And red is even there on the backside with some fire ships. He doesn't notice these fish. But he's too busy trying to kill that dock instead. Boo hasn't added any TCs yet. Probably because he's got no stone. He is mining stone now. He's going to add a TC very, very shortly, I think. He should probably know that he's massively ahead on water. And he can afford to add some eco in at this stage. Is Grey going for a landing? Yes, he is. Oh, they found Blue's transport, which is now dead. There is the... What are you going to do with this? I guess you can put 10 villages inside it. But, where are you... Wait, where's Boo going now? Oh, okay, because there's war galleys around the backside chasing Dave's fish once again. This is luring his war galleys out of the way. Where is this landing going, and what is he going to do? I guess he has the stone, so he's just going to drop a castle in front of Cappy's TC. There's 2 scouts, but there are some defensive war galleys here to help out. Oh, there is the castle. He alerts him by instantly attacking a villager. Yellow does also notice the castle going up. What does Cappy do to defend this? He has the stone for a tower if he wants... Oh, no, he doesn't, because he has donjons. He can't afford a tower. Okay, he buys the stone. Is he going to rush a donjon? He does, but he needs more villagers to build this, I think. I think he needs to, like, grab all of these TC vills to start building this donjon if he wants to stop this castle. Sending some vills to get a vill fight going, I guess. Just bash down the castle, it looks like. Oh, he pulled the wrong vills. Like, these vills are so much closer to the tower. But the tower now does... The castle, the donjon goes up, but the castle will also go up. So Cappy is going to actually be in some pickle soon. Should have vill fort. I mean, the war galleys are here, though, is the problem. We do see Boo, though, coming back around with his war galleys. The Red's landing is going to be cleaned up very, very shortly. There's monks here with Redemption converting all of his buildings. He's trying to push with 2 mangoes and some crossbows. But if he takes too much damage, and if he loses these mangonels, he's probably just going to get cleaned by Blue on land, to be honest. We do have the Ram cleaning up Green's aborted castle landing. Grey's imping. Oh my god. I guess he just builds a treb and tries to kill Red with castle and a treb. But yes, the The landing from Cappy is essentially denied at this point, but Boo has 100% water control at this stage. He has added a second TC. The question is, does he add a third TC? He's only not just now doing Loom. Third TC or save for Imperial Age is the question. He has been adding in extra fish. I wouldn't mind a dock on the front side to get access to all these extra fish. Make it a little bit more efficient instead of the long distance that these guns are going for. Dave also could probably add an extra dock down this way at some point. Hashtag worth it. And we see a defensive... Oh, I didn't even realize that Dave was up to Imp. Dave is going for his own castle now. I wonder, will his castle finish? Yes. The castle will be up before Grey hits Imp, so he'll start trimming down Grey's castle, which is currently still garrisoned with 9 villas doing absolutely nothing. We do see 4 docks coming out for the fast Imp fires. We've seen this already this week when we casted Pub versus One Punch as part of the Rising Teams 3v3 tournament. They had Dave playing as the pocket, going for the fish boom, the counter landing with scouts, into a little bit of a boom into fast Imp fires and a defensive castle, and Trebs to clean up any remains of the landing. Blue looks like he wants to get his crossbows into this transport. Recognizes, well, that's not going to work. There's all these war galleys right here. Honestly, I don't even know if the fast fires from Dave make any sense whatsoever. I think cleaning up this castle is like the obvious priority. And then beyond that, landing yourself, I think, would make more sense. Like, there's no water presence at all. I mean, I guess Blue is trying to redock, so he's thinking about going to water. He's on his way up to Imperial Age himself. And we do see the Treb War about to begin, but Grey is actually uphill. And he's also denying 2 of Dave's gold. Oh, sorry, not Dave, Cappy's golds, which he's just able to start mining away to fuel his Saracen market eco, which is non-existent eco, because he's not making any villages, he's only making trebuchets at the moment. Does Dave need bomber cannon? I mean, I wouldn't hate it, to be honest. Getting it, making a couple of bomber cannons as well to snipe down the trebs. But honestly, I think they can sort of do whatever they want to, and there's no way they ever really lose this game. They're so far ahead, right? They're 40 vills ahead, they're 40 army ahead. They've got their strong water player Boo about to hit Imp. We do see the fire ship starting to be massed for Blue, but I think that Boo should have enough galleons with Bracer and Chemistry to be fine in the long run, especially if he takes down some of these docks pretty quickly. And he's also doing a good job spreading out all around the edges to try to deny extra docks. It'd be a little bit useful, I think, for Dave to send some of his fast fires this way. He's switching into war galleys himself. I think fast fires would be better to try to, you know, body block for Boo's galleons instead. The Treb War, both castles are probably going to die, but then Grey has absolutely nothing to support that in the end. Yep. Now, once the castle's dead, just 2 scouts are essentially going to clean up the landing. Well, okay, the villas are going to fight back a little bit, but he's making some knights as well. Anything that he does, really, is going to secure their island. We do see the fast fires coming down this way to try to support the war galleys. There's just not enough boats. They can't possibly make enough boats fast enough. I don't know why Green's trying to redock there. I mean, these castles on the backside make a lot of sense to try to secure some possible dock position, but I feel like... I mean, I feel like a broken record at this point. I don't really see how this can ever possibly work out. Like, even this castle could potentially be denied by these galleons. Blue's docks are getting absolutely destroyed right now. We do see more dock upgrades coming in for all of the players on the team. The Knights are here to try to clean up the Trebs and the Vills. They try to do some walls, that's not going to work out. That... I mean, did Yellow lose all of his Trebs? I guess he did lose all the Trebs in the Treb War. So, this castle it will potentially go up, maybe. But they can always just send, you know, 1 or 2 galleons. 1 galleon, and this castle's never going to be finished. The trebuchet will go down at some point. Green did manage to build his castles. He is adding his docks. He's taking into galleon himself. But, there's just so much navy on the field. There's so much eco as well. We even see Caravan being tagged for Davon. I would expect him to get... I guess he doesn't have a castle anymore. I was going to say that he should get the cheaper trade... thingamabob research at some point. I'm gonna head off. See ya. Thanks for hanging out, Pete. This is a different Team Islands game for you to enjoy, I think. Not what is usually seen. We see Blue, once again, trying to redock. But Boo is on top of this. He has galleons patrolling all over the place, trying to deny these. So the only place that they can dock is back here underneath Green's castles. Salad has dropped to 16 pop. Why is he saying shh? The sneak? I mean, I guess Green does still have this castle. I mean, this stable? What is they talking about?
Attack the enemy with monks.
It seems that they're just trolling, to be honest, because Salad is obviously like not even really part of this game. He's lost villagers on this wood line. Salad's just not even a part of the game anymore. And Green's like, he's fucking around trying to make galleons, but really they're just wasting time. He has 30 galleons in the near future. Boo has 60 and cannon galleons. And then there's a bunch of fast fires from Dave, plus his own war galleys, and Red has fire ships as well. And they're all getting caravan. We've got Silk Road coming in, so there's going to be mass trade being produced soon. They're doing the correct things to ensure that they win a late game. Oh, actually, there is a sneak. One villager has built 2 monasteries, and he's starting to make some monks. What upgrades does he have on the monks? Absolutely none. So, I guess instead of rebooming with TCs, he can just convert all of Capifrax villas instead. I mean, okay, fair enough. Blue's going for a forward castle to try to regain some dock positions. And there's a big Navy engagement potentially brewing here on the top side, but all that Dave needs to do is just bring these fast fires around to help out King Boo, and they will just clean up Green in a 2v1 situation. They have now scouted the monasteries. He's taking Sanctity. There's 5 knights coming in. 5 knights versus 3 monks. Who is going to win? That is the question. The villagers trying to body block a little bit. 1 monk goes down. 3 monks are down for 2 knight conversions. This last monk is also going to be converted. It looks he's going to be killed as well. And then now there are 3 knights versus 2 knights. And then also we see that Dave is starting to queue up some light cav, or just even just scout cavs. But I think that's going to be completely unnecessary because the 2 knights do win the fight. Salad is starting to build TCs. He doesn't have any food eco, and we do just see mass barracks being dropped now from Cappy. We're going to see condo spam as soon as he hits Imperial Age in 30 seconds. They're saying go to bed, no you. We do see actually quite a lot of demos. I'm guessing that Burmese don't get heavy demo. I mean, honestly, I think this is probably a little bit BM at this point. Not resigning when you're half the team score almost. They're very clearly just wasting time at this point. Defensive castle from Salad to try to deny the condo landing. I mean, it'll do a little bit, but Abby can always just continue building barracks someplace else instead. We do see the demos potentially getting in here. That's some pretty good explosions, to be honest, but even so, there's still no chance of them ever really taking a good fight. We see Street Pete just spamming TCs. I guess he wants to have a bunch of sheep? Okay, and they do call the GG in the end. A very, very solid Team Islands play from Pub. As we did say beforehand, I didn't really think that there was any chance that they could win that series with those remaining SIDs that they had for Team Islands. GG, well played indeed. Put up the score as well. Pub with a very convincing 3-2 victory right there.